Can't hear him.
Mhm.
So I can
Hello,
do like a
everybody.
dub over.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Very
Hello.
chaotic, apparently.
Extremely chaotic. This is chaos. Isn't that what we love, though? We want chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We're all
Yeah,
agents
we
of
live
chaos
for it.
around here.
Chaos.
The Chaos Emeralds.
Damn, not here.
Jesus Christ. All right. What's up, everyone?
Hey.
Hello.
This
It's
is... It's Friday, and Friday
It's
means
Friday.
once every now and then
TGIF.
we get... Oh my gosh.
Jeff is
Disaster.
instantly gonna regret this.
This is the worst idea I've had ever.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine.
Next to
Yeah.
the clown table
The
as well.
worst, best idea.
Oh my god. Okay, so yeah. Welcome to the third edition of Composer Conversation, and we're doing a roundtable with a bunch of the homies from Concordia. Hopefully it won't suck.
Hello.
Why would it suck?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, clearly we're geniuses. We're we're knights of the clown table. I
Knights
don't
of
know
the
why I
clown
said
table.
parts. We are parts
Oh.
of the clown table too.
Cogs in the wheel of table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just go right off the bat and just introduce yourselves. Who are you? What do you do? And what's your favorite color? Let's start with Nusha.
Oh no, why? Okay, fine. What were the
You're always first.
Yeah. Oh god. Okay. Who am I? I am Yusha. Yeah. What do I do? I am a student. I feel like I'm filling in those government questionnaires.
That's
What do you
exactly
do,
what it is.
student? I guess I'm a composer going into my master's for film composition, so film and video game, well, all screen, film, video game, TV, VR, XR, whatever. Favorite color is green and blue, and no, I will not choose between the two. I'm sorry. It's
Solid choice.
never gonna happen. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, just a few more questions. The last 4 digits of your credit card and your social security.
There's 3 funky
that'll be
numbers on
all.
the back of your credit card.
Yeah, it's no.
And your mom is too at that point. All
Right,
right, Seb.
well.
Seb, let's go with you.
All right, I'll go next. All right. My name is Sebastien Medina. For you Americans out there, or Canadians, it's Sebastian. Yes, that's right. That's the way you say it. And I too am but a humble composer who is a student at Concordia. And I'm graduating this year, so pretty much the same boat as Nusha over here. But she's much smarter than I. There you go.
Give yourself some
thank
credit.
you.
All right.
No, you do. Yeah, you do deserve some credit.
A little bit, not much,
Oh,
just
thank
a
you.
little.
Just
Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
All right,
Better
Jasper.
than nothing.
Let's get Jasper up in
Yeah.
here.
So, I am Jasper. I haven't really decided on which last name I'm going to use in publishing music stuff, but Round is fine.
All right.
Yeah. Clearly, this has been well thought out. Yeah, also composer and vocalist, mostly focusing, at least recently, on horror composing and folk music stuff. Yeah.
Or
Also green. Yeah.
Green. All right. Brandon, Mr. Bunny.
Mr. Bunny. I think it's one of those Facebook AR pictures that you do, and I just really like the grin of the bunny.
Hell yeah.
Just really represented like the inner depths of my soul.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's deep.
All right. If that was an introduction enough, no, I'm joking. Man, I don't even know if I'm technically considered a Concordia student anymore.
You're an alum, a Concordia alum.
Good enough.
Yeah. I was studying electroacoustics, and I was doing like a minors in like, I guess, like, was it contemporary composition?
Yeah.
Was it called that? Yeah.
Hey.
I think
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's where I met all you lads. It was what a great time. Personally, I really like contemporary composition. It was really
Hey.
Yeah. What am I? At this point, I don't even know, man. I'm like, I sing, I write, and I sometimes did some jazz back in the day, but now I do the rock.
Oh,
Oh,
you like
oh.
jazz?
I like jazz.
You like jazz?
That's
Just
full
all of
Dallas.
us.
I was having audio issues. I
no.
couldn't hear anything from Discord, so that's why I had to leave and rejoin. And,
Wow.
so I missed like the first few minutes of everything. I came in when Sebastian was introducing. So
All's good.
yeah.
We were
Alright.
just talking about you, so you didn't miss
Yeah,
anything.
we were talking shit
Oh, fantastic.
live. Anything else, Brandon? Oh, what's your favorite color?
Oh shoot. My favorite color was once red, and now it is pink.
Man, what did
I like
Red
that.
do to deserve that?
That's
Yeah.
character
Yeah.
development is what that is.
Red is my favorite color. How dare you?
Oh
I'm
no,
a part of the
this
Red
is-
Clan over here.
Look, I love red. I love all
Red
the colors.
gang.
I swear. I'm all down for
Yeah.
gradients and stuff, man.
Yeah, you better.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Alright, and last but most certainly not least, Discord mod Dallas.
Hi, I'm Dallas. I am a Concordia about to graduate student, and I'm a kind of composer working on folk stuff. Studied jazz for a while as a saxophonist, and then play guitar and sing and do my little thing.
Ooh,
And your favorite color?
I like that.
Oh, my favorite. Oh, that's part of it. Okay. Yeah. Again,
Very
well, the favorite color is probably violet. I like purple.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are good colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a man of culture.
Loving it.
Alright. Now that we got the stupid shit out of the way.
Was it stupid?
Yeah,
Um,
man,
You
nobody
can call
wanted
me by my
Lego
name.
Brothers.
It's okay.
yeah, we got all that Dallas stuff out of the way.
Mhm.
So like obviously there's a huge elephant in the room that is called the world, and it's called COVID. How has the last year or so just been treating you guys as far as like your creative process and all that? And if you gotta say shit, just chime in. Don't even just talk over each other. Please yell.
Please.
Don't ask us to do that. So,
Yeah, because we will.
but
Oh,
we'll do it
hold
in
up.
an exaggerated way.
Loud
New
noises.
challenger approaches.
Oh. Oh.
Christian,
Hello.
Oh,
Christian, all right,
Boy.
you're just on time. So
Yes.
I'm gonna throw you right into the fire.
Nice name.
So can you tell us who you are,
Right.
what you do, and your favorite color?
Who I am. I see everyone has their cameras off. Is that for a reason or just
You don't
doesn't know
need
if I
to.
need to keep
You can have one on if you
Okay.
like. It's
you'll be the only one.
3, 2,
Jeff is
1.
the only
Everyone
mad
turns
lad
on their
right here.
cameras.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm not alone. God damn, you're looking like Eric Carlson right now.
Dang.
Yeah, actually.
Yar
Looking like a
har.
Okay.
snack.
Oh, right. Okay. So sorry. Say that. What was the questions again? Sorry.
All right, tell us who you are, what you do, and your favorite color.
All right. My name's Christian Graham. I am a composer. I work. I work as a audio supervisor for Montre Instruments as well as a lead audio engineer at La Hacienda Creative. And post-production supervisor. So I do a lot on both sides. And my favorite color is purple.
Great
Damn,
choice.
Christian had a whole
That's
CV
a
ready for you.
fantastic answer.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was ready.
you had your CV out and everything.
Hey, I'm
He had a
come
review
prepared,
ready
you know?
right there.
Also,
Come prepared.
Purple Gang.
Purple gang.
Yes,
Yeah,
purple
gang.
is the best
Yeah,
color
shoot.
It is.
ever.
Purple gang.
To anyone who says otherwise.
I mean, we could argue about this all day, but I think that Jeff wants to talk about other stuff.
No, we can
because
argue about
I don't-
colors.
Because I don't agree with you, but you know.
Oh, all right.
Oh shit.
Well,
Oh, shit.
Jesus Christ. All right,
Here we
since
go.
Christian just got here, so yeah, when Seb gets here, we'll ignore him. He doesn't need an introduction. I already did a talk with him, so you know.
I mean,
So-
I got an introduction. You did talk with me.
Yeah, but it's Seb.
Hey, just for clarification, is this streamed or is this
It's
like recorded?
streamed and
All right.
recorded.
Streamed right
It's
now.
both. Yeah.
At this
No
very
way.
moment.
Yeah.
You
Sick.
are live.
All right. Hello, people.
All right. So yeah, I'll just repeat. I was literally getting into the first question as you came in. So how has the last year or so of the pandemic affected your creative process and like composing in all the ways, and everyone just talk over each other?
It's been difficult.
Okay, so for the
Oh,
first thing
let's
that happened
get
was
to
Okay,
that,
please don't actually. I was
True.
joking.
So much crazy things going.
You opened up
Space.
Pandora's box there, bud.
I know.
Yeah, you did.
That's a dangerous thing to do.
All right.
Now no one wants to go first.
Yeah.
Jasper,
Yeah,
just
no.
start it off. Start it off, Jasper.
That's true, I did. Yeah, no, it's been very difficult because I have lost easy access to like good recording facilities, which basically just means that I've been trying to record stuff in my bedroom, which is in, an old apartment, a very noisy apartment. So that's been difficult, but otherwise, like, it's actually been sort of nice to just have like a lot more time basically to focus on the actual composition parts of it rather than aside from the recording part. But I mean, I think that's about all my thoughts for now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel the
I
bedroom
mean, it's-
recording.
Bedroom recording's the way to go nowadays.
I mean, it's not too bad to do a bedroom recording. I feel like it's definitely been like it's not better, it's not worse situation. In terms of composition, in terms of like seeing friends, it's a lot worse. I wish I could see you guys. Um, but like I do believe that, we're extremely adaptable creatures. And it doesn't mean that things don't go without a hitch or like things are the same. It's more just like we do things differently and we find different ways to do things. For example, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think I would have been able to do so much for my portfolio. And then, it keeps going into like a chain reaction. Like if I didn't get stuff done for my portfolio, I couldn't have applied for university for a master's. If I did do that, I got a scholarship. Like there's so much that came out of it. I created a home studio
Hell
and from scratch.
Hell yeah.
And I was able to start looking at how to do some DIY sound treatment and learning about that sound treatment and just really taking time for myself to do that. So in terms of the composition side, it's actually been like amazing, I think, because it's kind of like going back to analog and figuring that out. But
Oh yeah.
in terms of just like mental health, not great, but
Yeah.
you pick your battles.
Yep.
Yep. It is true that like we are blessed to live in a time where, a lot of things can be digitally done now, I mean, if we were living back in the 1950s and this pandemic hit and we were composers, we'd
Oh
be
shit.
most likely dead in the water because we
would
would need
suck.
to actually be there and like play actual instruments. But with the progress of technology and DAWs, we have access to all these
Yeah.
pretty sounds and stuff. Like, I mean, of course, it doesn't beat like the real deal, someone actually being there to play the actual instrument with actual acoustics and stuff. But it's still a good like secondary to have as a composer, especially nowadays.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I found, and I found like with the pandemic, like we have so much more time. So I found it like how much I've actually been getting done seems to be kind of the same as it always has been. But I feel like I should be doing more. And so because of that,
Yeah.
I feel bad about myself. I'm like, wow, Christian, you're really like slacking off. I'm like, I know, but it's not actually that I am. It's just that I feel like I should be because there's more free time.
Yeah.
When really it's the same amount of time we've always had. It's just kind of that's the thing I've noticed the most. Like I look at what I'm like, how much I've composed for the last little bit compared to before. It's like, it's not that much different. I just feel worse about not doing more than I did before because I was like, well, I went out and saw friends, I went out and do this and something like that, so you feel like there's more to do, even though there's so.
Yeah. A lot more time at home now. A lot less time traveling in the stinky metro.
Yeah, public transit time is never realized how much of the day it actually took up.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
god.
Especially you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like
It's absolutely true.
Our far boy.
from a faraway land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
one good thing though out of the pandemic is that people actually start taking sick days seriously. Remember when it was so hard to
Yeah.
take a sick day off work or a sick day off school?
This is true.
Now, instead of making up huge excuses, you could be like, "Bro, I'm coughing." They're like, "Stay home. Don't come."
Like-
Yeah, exactly.
A woman
Paranoia
sneezed
really
across the
helps
street.
you.
I need a day off.
Go home.
Yeah, exactly.
The glares you get when you're in the metro or walking around and you sneeze.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
my god.
Yeah.
It's really bad for the people who have like hardcore allergies. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
Man.
And like, what's up with sick days? It should be unlimited sick days because you can't predict it. And so now I think things will change with that. I think people will be a little bit more accessible, hopefully, and not just we retreat back to stupidity.
And I
could
really
help.
hope that companies actually take it into account with their staffing, that they have a reliable amount of people that they can restaff on short notice
Mhm.
if something like that happens. But we can
Imagine.
dream. We can
Good
hope.
dream.
If they're not
I
mandated
hope,
to,
yeah.
it won't happen. But anyway, we said we weren't going to get too political.
No.
True.
Oh, like,
So like to polish off the whole COVID talk. Do you guys think that the last year has like brought any changes in the music industry itself that are going to be pretty
Absolutely.
long lasting?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I think Christian has something to say.
DIY scene is going to be pretty big.
yeah. Well, there's an insane amount. Like, well, because from now, like, every artist who focused completely on just performance and as a performance art, completely now has had to reevaluate everything they're doing.
Mhm.
And so everyone now, like the ability for people to work remotely, like say like just in collaboration, like for example, like a lot of the recent Hollywood films, like Tenant for one, if I'm not mistaken, for most of it was done, each individual performer got some basic recording gear in their apartment for the orchestra, and each recorded their stuff and sent their audio in, and then it got mixed in to sound like an orchestra. That was like, and that's how
Bruh.
a lot of it is. Not that that's going to change and be like the norm now, but the emphasis on like essentially see either one of two things happening, but I don't see the other likely. One is that we just see a huge focus, like shift. Like as Nusha said, you had to learn how to make a bit, somewhat of a home studio, a little bit about miking techniques, a little bit of stuff. The basic recording gear and basic recording knowledge is going to be kind of just a must for every musician, I think now.
Yep.
It's not going to really be like you can just play guitar or just play this and be in a band and do your stuff. That's not going to be the case anymore. You're going to have to know at least basics. And then also, or the other option, or the other thing is once it goes off, everyone just ditches all that stuff and tries to sell other stuff, and audio gear just plummets in price. That would be the other possibility, but I just see that being I don't see that likely at all. I think it'll be more the other way, with just home studios being kind of a normal thing for pretty much every musician.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
and pretty much everyone's
Absolutely.
had to get a bit more independent with their
Yeah.
practice, and those skills don't necessarily go away with the pandemic, right?
Yeah. Which I also think that another part of it is if we look at the EU, for example, and how the musicians union works in the EU, these musicians can work from country to country as long as you're in the EU, and you can work as a composer in different countries. You don't need to be, you're not kind of like separated by borders within the continent. Unfortunately, in North America, that's not a thing necessarily. Like you still need like a visa, you still need a sponsor, you still need all these things, and it becomes a lot more difficult for you to find work outside of even your own city. So I think that the pandemic it's going to kind of create a shift with that. Either we're going to find it a lot easier to hire people from all over the country, and we're going to take away borders when it comes to people working on a project that involves a lot of people around the world, especially if we are talking about music, if we're talking about film, if we're talking about all these different art forms, none of them end up in one place. It's always like a collaboration between different countries and cities and provinces.
Mhm.
And Quebec has had like a really hard time with, for example, actors unions, because they end up not really hiring actors from Quebec despite, filming movies in Montreal, for example. But I think that with this whole thing where it's remote and you can audition from remote, you can do work from remote, um, I think it's going to help take off those kind of bullshit barriers. I think,
Yeah.
and it's gonna connect people. We're gonna become artists without borders, but not like doctors without borders, because they actually help the world. We're just gonna.
Hey, we help.
Well,
No, but you know what I mean. Like we're not
Yeah.
going like a.
Yeah.
yeah.
Though it should be
Although-
said, like, just like as a little asterisk, that it's always better to music make in person than it is, through
Oh,
like a
for
streaming
sure.
website.
Oh
Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
like this isn't to say that this is like a replacement for actually playing with people in
No.
person,
No, yeah,
but it's
but
a
it might,
nice option for if they
but it
can't
might
make
even make
it,
it
or they
easier.
have like, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just saying, like, it might even make it easier, like, even if you have to do it in person, for you to get hired in the first place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Although it does sort of necessarily mean that in order to sort of have that remote capability, you do also have to have like a certain amount of, up-to-date technology and internet
Yes.
connection and everything
Right,
that
right.
isn't necessarily super accessible to everyone.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
because that
Yeah.
costs money.
Money.
And not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Especially
So-
musicians.
Especially musicians.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you could potentially find a way to get that into your taxes and claim it, but you just
sure.
have to know how to do it and see
Yeah.
if you can do it. There's definitely a way to do it. It's just
100%.
not like
Yeah, for sure.
I think the only thing that like really gets worse in the music industry are like orchestras and choirs, because they need to be in person. Yo, what's up, Sam?
Oh,
Hello,
look at that.
fellow
Look who it
clowns.
is. Speaking of
Oh my God.
communism.
It's the
Yeah,
other
whoa.
Sam.
Are we speaking of, was I summoned? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yep.
we said
Oh, shit.
comrade and you just appeared.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
Duh,
talking about-
Tovadi.
We said
gotta work
Suka
it.
Bliat,
Hey,
and you're like,
gang,
"What's
we got the
Yeah.
gang.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh
The
damn,
fucking
everyone's
clowns.
Just trying to get the cam working for a bit.
no.
Hey,
It's
Yo,
nice to-
guys, we live in a society, all
We
right?
sure
Can we
do.
Yeah.
just...
live
We
in
do, man.
society.
How you guys doing?
You're doing great. Thanks for derailing the conversation, Seb.
Yeah, you were
Shut
talking-
the fuck up.
Damn you and your optimism, man. Damn it.
Caleb literally just summoned you,
You
Seb.
greeting us when you're late? SMH.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, everyone went past that part of the conversation already. I'm just...
All right. Yeah, Seb, we were just talking about if the last year and the pandemic have made any lasting changes on the music industry.
Oh,
And we said a lot of stuff.
oh, cool.
Anything else?
Nah.
Well,
I'm good.
I have something actually.
Care to elaborate?
Brandon.
Brandon
Brandon,
has
let's
something.
go.
Yo, Seb.
So, I guess
You're really quiet, Brandon.
Yeah,
I'm
Brandon, you
sorry.
gotta put your mic volume up.
my Viking. Oh, is this
Oh,
better?
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Little too
Your
much?
mic volume.
that's good. That's
No, it's
perfect.
good.
That's some
My
ASMR volume right there.
My microphone volume is greater, better now.
Yes, it's
better,
perfect.
great, good.
Yes.
You're
Perfect.
amazing. I love you.
I was just gonna say, I think probably one of the coolest things I find about it is the fact that now there's like a bridge for that connection between different artists, musicians all around the world, right? That's become a little bit more accessible. Like you have like Audio Movers, and you have like I think like Cubase VST Connect or something like that. There's a bunch of different alternatives and like methods to now create like almost like a lower latency relationship between different artists to record and perform through their different DAWs and stuff. And I find that absolutely amazing. And a lot of my work in the past few years was a lot of like vocal top lining stuff in which I had to interact with a bunch of other artists outside, from other parts of the world, and just this allowing us to kind of get more and easier access to those kind of softwares. And that connection, even on a distant level, has allowed us to communicate even more. more than just maybe a Zoom call and just trying to send each other exports of stuff. We can actually directly connect into somebody's project and be able to record directly into it. It's pretty crazy, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's one cool thing I
Yes.
find that is amazing about it. But obviously, at the same time, nothing beats the connection, like Seb was saying, like the human connection of playing with somebody in the same room.
Oh, yeah.
At least this way too. It's like you get to see the person a bit. You get to communicate. It's not the best, but it's getting there slowly
It'll
until
do.
we get into like the VR space, AR space. That's gonna be sick.
Ooh.
It's gonna be sick.
We all just compose and
SR,
collaborate in
PGI,
VR chat.
FX.
Just see orchestra of our buds like just appearing in front of our eyes and stuff. It's gonna be
I
great.
just love the idea of just a bunch of fucking anime characters just like composing, like nonchalantly too. Like everyone's taking it like really seriously, but
And everybody's like awkwardly like moving and
Do
strafing
people do
around,
that?
like playing
Yeah,
their
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, people doing jam sessions on VR chat with like Solid Snake and some other.
yeah, Naruto. Yeah, Naruto. Yeah.
Eh. Yeah.
Awesome.
It reminds me of like some of those MMOs that like you can like play like an instrument in, for example. I think like Final
Yeah.
Fantasy
Oh, yeah,
14,
yeah.
and I think
Mm.
also what was it?
Sea of
Couple of
Thieves.
those where you-
Yeah, there's a bunch of that. Yeah,
You-
exactly. I mean, why not? It
Actually,
could be
pretty sure,
totally
doesn't
possible.
Mordo have something like that?
Mordhau has a loot bot that you can
Yeah.
program.
That's
pretty cool.
sick. That's sick.
Oh,
We love that.
there you go.
Amazing.
And the hunt pianos, Dallas.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so like it seems like the overarching thing is just the last year has made it way more accessible to collaborate no matter where you are,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll stay in some form with a mix of, in-person, please, in-person collaboration.
Nothing beats the flesh.
I just want to jam again.
Yeah.
Wait, I took
Mm.
I took that phrase too literally.
Direct eye
Nothing
contact.
beats the flesh.
Yeah. So did I. So did I, but I just tried not to say anything.
Some mute space.
God damn it.
I'm sorry.
All right. It's time for tech time, guys. All right.
Tech time.
I love tech.
They're
So
cool.
we're gonna fight
All
about
right, I'll do this.
I know. I gave in to peer pressure. And,
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm not going on camera no matter what. I'm
Touche.
sorry. I will be the only
Yeah,
one not on
perfect.
camera.
So valid.
Oh my God,
okay,
Seb.
Okay, all right.
Nusha, we
okay,
love the
So
we just
I look so suspicious.
we're content with the picture of you going.
I will find you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the only picture you'll get.
That's fine. We're content with that.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's perfect. Okay, tech time. It's
Seba,
time
you
for
look
us
like
to.
the-
Yes, tech time. Let's talk about tech.
Okay, we're gonna start by fighting over Dawes and why Reaper is objectively the best at everything on the planet.
All right, I'm leaving. Bye,
I
guys.
mean, you're right.
I can't argue with you on that one.
I can't argue. I haven't used them all, so I can't be the judge of this.
Yeah, me
I've used a lot. I can tell you which ones really suck.
I mean,
Christian,
there's no,
spill the beans.
I don't think there's any argument.
All right,
So
I fucking hate Pro Tools.
Yes.
Me too. I also
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
it.
can we
I
just
hate
turn
it,
it
but
into
I
a
hate
Pro
it.
Tools
I think we
hate
can all
session?
agree with that one.
Sorry.
I
Yeah,
I
better
don't
use
un-
garage band.
like I don't
Maybe hang.
understand why it's people say like or it's considered an industry standard. I don't care if it's an industry
tell you why.
standard. It sucks. Like
Yeah,
Christian
it's
could
the
say.
wrong industry standard. Like it's
I-
the industry standard in another industry. Like
Right.
See, okay, well, the reason why it's an industry standard, a lot of that has to do with because a lot of post production, but essentially, Pro Tools is really good setup for if you're like it was completely set up within mind for people who worked at a console who have like 150 faders. It works really well with that. If you have that kind of a setup and you're one of those fancy recording studios that have been around forever, it works really well for that, and it's frankly actually the best DAW for that. That's what it's made for.
Sure.
Now, the reason why it looks like it was built in 2000, in like the early 2000s, is because it was, and they haven't updated anything because the vast majority of their people who work with it are older and have been in the industry for years, and so they're not adapting to things, and they want things to stay the same. So they know their market, and that's why. That's one of the big reasons why it's that. Now, because all these older studios, like all the ones in Hollywood, New York, and all these big places have used that, people who go in to get trained, they get trained on Pro Tools, and so they learn how to use it with Pro Tools in mind. And so that's what they learn. And because a lot of people who are still doing this have been doing it for the last 50 years, are still doing it, and kind of the big people in the industry, they're all still using it, and so it's been kind of institutionalized into the industry, and that's one of the biggest reason why you have that. And because of that, every recording studio essentially has Pro Tools, because it's the one thing that everyone will have had some experience and some exposure to. So that's why, but maybe over the next couple of decades, things will change out, and you'll see maybe Cubase or these things just being more versatile, because everyone, when you get into it more professionally, you have to learn essentially every DAW. And for the most part, they all work the same. There's just different quirks and things that they do a little bit better than others, unless it's Reaper, which you configure to do whatever the hell you want it to do, which is neat.
Yeah. Oh,
But essentially, though, that's the biggest reason why it's been that way. Like, maybe when all these other people who've been in the industry all retire in the next, 20, 10,
Yeah, it's the boomer DAW. That's what it is.
This is the
boomer
DAW.
It's the boomer DAW, 100%. It's the
I
boomer
get it
DAW.
though. Like, I get it. Like on a professional level, it's like you don't want anything to necessarily change either. You want everything to stay the same
Exactly.
every single time. And that totally makes sense. If
The
you get an
future's now,
update
old man.
that ruins something, you get an update that ruins your whole workflow, it's over.
Yep.
Time is lost. It's
Yeah,
That's
no,
true. I mean, it is much harder to learn something new when you're a fucking fossil.
It's like how
Hey, Ennio Morricone had to do that. Okay, he had to go from completely acoustic to learning something that wasn't acoustic. So if he could do it in his old ripe age, he died this year at 98 years old. Like, come on, guys. If he can do it, so can composers.
there's no
today.
excuse.
What a solid.
It's
Well,
like-
it's not the composers. It's not the composers. This is the composers have to learn how to use Pro Tools if they didn't know Pro Tools.
Yeah.
It's the post-production side of things. So it's everyone who does the dubbing stage, people who do the recordings at all the orchestral recordings at any of the places. So it's not like the composer. Like, a lot of composers do use Pro Tools, like Brian Taylor and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the reason why they use is because that's what they learned on. And also, for a while, Pro Tools was the best DAW. But then they just never changed. And everyone else was like, well, if that's what can we do better than them? And they did. And people were like, well, this is better than screw that. But composers use Pro Tools. Like, I had to learn Pro Tools for sending off a film score for work, because I had to learn Pro Tools in 5 minutes to do so, just because, as Brandon mentioned, you don't want things to change. So we made a Pro Tools session, sent it to them, so that we knew that what we sent them was the exact same that they got, rather than them doing stuff and possibly fucking it up.
Yeah.
I hear everything that you were saying about Pro Tools being an industry standard for good reasons or whatever.
I just don't agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bad reasons.
But I did spend about 12 hours altogether over the course of a day just trying to get my Logic project to talk to Pro Tools project. It was hell, because it doesn't have AAF compatibility. Anyway.
I literally spent I had to spend, what was it? I took a job, I did a mix for a film, all the music mixing for it, and so I was sending stuff to the mixer who's going to be mixing all the dialogue and sound effects and music together and stuff. Because of a problem with the start time of the beat that I got was different than the one that he had.
No.
I had to spend. Oh yeah, essentially, I had to spend what should have been a 3-hour Saturday 4 hours with a bit of with a small break and stuff, like a 4 hours in the morning. That's what it should have taken me to do. I was there until 7:32 with our curfew. I had to leave then, but I started coming back. I had to go back to work for that exact problem because of that. That's the thing, is these DAWs, they don't communicate, and some of them do, but only at specific sample rates. Like the lowest, like 48. So if you are working 48, there are ways around it, which is why, like, if you see any of these like Hollywood composers, they have a way to slave one DAW into Pro Tools so that they can avoid that problem. But if you want to work at anything of higher quality for any like audio manipulation and stuff like that, you can't do it, because people goes, well, 48's the standard, so that's all we're going to give you.
Yeah.
It's so comforting. It's so comforting to know that people in the industry don't have their shit together. Like, there's no pressure on me to,
Honestly.
Like,
I look at myself and I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm up there, man.
Yeah. Also, Caleb says that he misses everyone and loves you all very much.
I'll miss you too, Caleb.
Yeah, to tack on to what Brandon said about the boomers not wanting to change anything about their DAW, did you guys know that Danny Elfman quite literally paid Digital Performer to give him an old skin on the new versions?
Wow.
Oh my god.
Because he's like, I don't like they
we
changed
can
it.
we can forgive it from Danny. We can forgive
Yeah,
it.
I
like
can
yeah,
forgive him.
Danny
But
is
one
okay.
exception.
Yeah. Danny Elfman gets to do whatever he wants, honestly.
But still,
Yeah.
He's allowed at this point.
Yeah, but still.
But still, yeah.
like
It's
so
not to
much
say we're
love,
not a little
appreciation
disappointed.
for Danny. Like Danny's a homeboy, but still, it's like
Come on, dude. He's got to figure it out, though. You know,
He's a celebrity, guys. Just kick him.
Yeah.
just kick him. Oh, on the topic of tech, my man Skeleton Bud asked a question on any of you guys who have oh my god, I can't speak. Anyone who has experience with the fractal axe effects, what do you guys think of it?
Ooh, I haven't
Whoa,
tried that.
I wish I had
yeah.
more experience. I've heard so many good things about it. I want to have experience, but I don't have the couple grand to drop on it.
Yeah.
I'm not a guitarist, but my guitarist has his axe effects. He brings it here to do some recordings, or used to. Honestly, I think it's really cool. I really like the fact that there's multiple input options as well. So like, say if you're using, I guess, what is it, ADAT, or if you're using like typical line or ADAT, you're kind of covered. So even if you have like kind of like a very kind of like lower tier or an older interface or anything like that, it kind of covers all your bases. I like the fact that you have the option to like easily record at the same time, just like the line input as well as the effects as well. So you can have 3 different inputs and stuff. The sounds are really cool. There's also a nice little neat software that you can connect through USB onto your computer, and you can control stuff like that. So like whenever he would come in, we would do some guitars. I always had like his preset up and running and ready to go. So like it's really useful for if you don't have any, I guess, other guitar sims, say like on a DAW, or if you don't have anything else, it's a great all-in-one solution. Problem is, it's kind of pricey, you know. At that point, I'd say probably the I think there's the Helix, the Line 6 Helix.
Yeah, I
They
have
have
one.
like a lower tier like Stomp Box around like 800 or something.
I have that
That's
exact
pretty
thing.
dope too.
It's in my closet.
Pretty dope. Yeah. I
Um,
wouldn't know much about it, but I would imagine that like Line 6, Axe Effects,
Kemper.
what the other Kemper, they're all
Yeah.
great at what they do. You know.
Yeah.
My brother has an Axe Effects 2 XL. I think it's the XL.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
I played a live show with him once, and the sound guy was a real snob. And he's like, I don't know why you guys use those modelers. They just don't sound the same as a real tube amp. And I brought my tube head, and we both plugged in and we were sound checking. So my brother had the modeler, I had the real amp, and the sound guy comes over the mic. He's like, your tones are too similar. I can't tell the difference. I'm like, what was that about modelers versus tube?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
Pro Tools.
I heard the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme playing. Yeah. Also, the sound was horrible.
Gig sound guys.
Yeah, really. Yeah, so Axe Effects
man.
rules. I want one, but it's money.
Super dope, super expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything else? It's a very guitar techie question,
Yeah.
but I also know that Christian Henson uses the Axe Effects with his synths and
Yeah.
with plugins,
Oh.
and because nobody uses it for that, and he's like, that's a great way to get unique sounds because nobody else does it. And even the older models, which you can get like the Axe Effects Ultra, which go for like 800 Canadian because they're from like 7 years ago. And like for shit like that, then you still get great guitar sounds. Like,
Yeah,
It's-
I don't know why I don't think about it like that. I have a synth that I've had for years. I never thought about throwing a chorus on it or anything.
Yeah.
Why?
Slap it. Slap
Yeah.
it.
Why?
Yeah, why
You
not?
know?
make some
What
crazy
was
synth
it?
sounds.
Just mess that synth right up.
Christian Henson actually, he has a video of him walking through how he does it, but essentially he just uses, like, he's not a guitarist, but he has a huge rig of guitar effect pedals that he runs audio from his DAW into it, and it's insane.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Wow.
But he also talks about, like, he puts like all of his synthesizers in there. He puts like he has an audio out from his DAW, so he can take like literally just a piano sound, a recording, run it through it, and he just messes with it like crazy. Really cool. Yeah, if you're interested, if you're down to, if you're looking to maybe have some fun with guitar pedals and stuff like that, check out his video for it. It's super cool, actually.
It's amazing.
I'm gonna check that out. Holy crap! Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Christian Henson on YouTube. He works for Spitfire Audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
and
also isn't he the one who started Piano Book?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that guy.
He's
Piano
amazing.
Book is awesome.
We stand.
He's amazing.
Skelly also just asked what your guys' favorite plugins are.
Ooh.
I got that question for my university interview.
Really?
I was
That's
like,
cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, fucking.
I mean, there's so many good ones. It's hard. To...
Exactly. Yeah.
It is
I
hard
guess.
to say.
Well, let's narrow them down a bit. Like, what kind of?
Can I put the whole effect rack of Sound Toys?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a plugin.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That is my plugin of choice.
It's just all of everything
Is it one
Sound
favorite
Toys.
or just favorite?
Sorry?
Favorite plugin or favorites?
No, we just said that was one plugin. Don't throw me under the bus here.
I'm not throwing you out.
I think he's asking me.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm
wrong with
clarifying
you?
Jeff, if he's asking for our favorite plugin or for favorites. Yes, the effects
Let's-
plugin is one plugin.
Yeah.
My favorite
It is.
plugin is Contact.
Oh my god. Okay, Christian and everyone. Yeah, I guess if you have multiple favorites, just say them.
I slap that Altiverb everywhere. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Slap
Oh.
it everywhere.
Smack
Altiverb
it
setup
around.
is just really fucking good. And honestly, it's not like I don't know about reverbs or like plugins particularly. I just see my boss uses it, and I'm like, yeah. I just slap
I was
Altiverb
gonna
on
say for
everything
reverb,
forever, constantly.
Valhalla. I just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Valhalla is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I
It has
also
my heart.
I want to shout out Little Plate because I don't think that one gets enough love as
Yes.
a reverb.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's an amazing reverb.
Oh man. God.
Whoever's asking me this question, are you taking notes? Are you gonna get all of these plugins?
It's gonna be an expensive list at that point.
Yeah.
Speaking of expensive though, well, relative to so many other things, I remember the first ever plugin I bought, and when I bought it, even with Cubase, was, and I knew I was gonna go heavy on it, but I felt like this would stick with me forever. Was Omnisphere by Spectrasonics.
Yes, that's the one.
And I still use it after I think now 6 years of owning it, and I absolutely love it. And the company is just amazing, absolutely amazing.
I'm
But,
so sorry. Can I change my answer after?
It's very important. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
But another one, if there's a favorite free plugin,
Oh.
my personal favorite would be Vocal Doubler by Isotope. I absolutely love that plugin.
Oh shit.
Creative stuff.
Isotope
Creative
stuff in general.
Yeah.
Well,
I
okay,
saw that shit on everything, like red hot sauce. Frank's right.
okay, so I have a few plugins, but they're like kind of different. So two for like when it comes to like mixing, mastering, and like kind of making things sound good. Softtube. They do an American Class A. It's a EQ compressor limiter and distortion and like adds its saturation. It is. I use that. I have never put that on a track and never gone. That doesn't work. That doesn't make it sound better. It every time makes something sound better. It's really good.
Softtube's
The other one is great for a master chain or just for a bus or sometimes individual ones, but is another one by Softtube. It's called the Drummer.
Yeah.
That one makes his mix. That one is amazing. They have
That one's not fair. That one's not fair. That one's just not fair.
It is.
It
No,
makes
it's
everything
so,
sound good,
so
and that's
good.
it. Like
literally,
you know,
I have done mixes. I put that
no
on.
tweaking, no nothing. It's just look, my mix.
Yeah,
is
out of the
done.
box,
Like,
you'll get
Turn
amazing
polish.
results. Yeah, it's super good. And then
Yeah.
favorite instrument. This is a shameless plug, but for I work at a virtual instrument company.
Yeah,
We make
I'm
instruments.
offended. No one answered that, honestly.
I know, and we do two instruments, but of the two, my favorite is we have an ultrasonic death whistle instrument.
It's so
If you're
good.
looking for a
That one slaps.
sound
It's
design
true.
instrument, it's amazing,
Yeah.
super cool. Total shameless plug there, but seriously, check it out. It's really good.
And
so I can keep
non-sponsored.
my job, guys.
Really cool
Yeah,
too.
dude,
It's like
Mantra is fucking dope. I love
fair.
the fucking sounds on it. I've been playing with it. I bought it like a week ago, and I'm like, so good.
It's insane.
yes,
Thank
so
you
good to hear
guys.
that. But yeah, so we have a couple more coming soon. So,
Yes, let's go.
Excited.
Awesome.
Yeah,
but anyway,
stop.
I could not shameless plug that. And anyway,
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Good job. I like it. I like it.
I was gonna say the Arturia Jupiter 8.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Arturia.
Yes.
Of
So good.
yes,
Of course.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Arturia is
Spicy.
One.
sexy,
Mm-hmm.
so good.
Mm-hmm.
The
Arturia effects plugins I love so much. Those are so
Mm.
good too.
They're just
I
so
mean, if we're
great.
talking Arturia, the DX7 is like my heart.
They're all just so
I mean,
amazing.
if we're talking Arturia, the Micro Freak is so much fun, but that's not a
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
plugin.
That's a thing.
That's a physical synthesizer. But it's a fun physical synthesizer to start with. So if anyone ever wants to start with one, that is a cool one to start with.
Hell yeah.
100%.
I think, is it just Seb Medina left? Or you also answered Nusha? I don't remember.
I did. I was the first one. I did the effect.
Okay,
rack.
yeah, that's why I don't remember. All right, Seb,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
finish it off.
I'm just gonna go with the same master as Jasper, honestly, because that one's
yeah.
just so solid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
It is.
Arturia Jupiter
There's
HZ.
so many options.
Stupid.
Actually, I have been using this this VST plugin for piano called the Grandeur. It's actually quite nice. It's like it's kind of obscure, but I've been enjoying it a lot because I used it for my my capstone project.
Mm.
So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like a thesis, I guess. For
It
other
is a thesis
stuff.
project. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a practical thesis.
Yeah, I've been using a VST plugin called the Grandeur, and it's just a solo piano, and it's just so good. It sounds so good.
Hell yeah.
You can check that one out.
My favorite plugin is actually a guitar amp sim by Neural DSP. It's the Pliny signature
yeah.
pack. It's just so good. The clean tones are sparkly. The mid drive tones are chunky, and the high gain tones sound like you're punching a baby.
Ooh.
Which is always
I was
good.
actually- now I'm actually curious.
That's a
So
statement.
with that one, how much versatility would you say with those ones? Because I'm actually I was looking into them as a possibility of getting, because I don't have room for actually buying a good
Yeah.
tube amp in my apartment.
Depending
How
on
do you
which
find
pack you buy, like the Pliny one in particular is extremely versatile. Like I would say that's the
yeah?
one to get. They
Oh,
have
yeah?
a bunch that are like death metal focused, and they have
Exactly.
Corey Wong from Wolfpack has a signature pack.
Yeah.
That one doesn't really do high gains, but it has a sim of a Dumble amp, and then the Corey Wong one has one that's simulating straight into a tube preamp like Prince used to do.
Yeah.
And then there's a model of his Fender Tweed, I think, and then a Dumble. So like it's crazy good, and it also has a built-in Valhalla shimmer reverb that you can turn on. That's really nice.
This
So,
was
yeah.
the Pliny one you said? The Pliny?
No, this was the Corey Wong.
Corey Wong.
The Pliny one is also amazing. So yeah, those two would be like the most versatile, I'd say. I have all of them, except for the newest ones.
I can second those two specific ones. I heard Jeff playing them, and
They're nuts. They're just
Okay, that's good to know, because I know
absolutely
they have a sale on right now, 50% off all of their
Get
stuff,
it.
and
Yeah,
so
wow.
I was
I
thinking.
was checking out,
Don't
yeah.
tell me that. Do not tell me that there's a sale on anything. I have zero money right now. Zero.
Also amazing
now.
is they do
59.50 euros.
they do unlimited. So every plugin they have, you can do a 14-day free trial with no restrictions.
Yeah,
So
I noticed that.
That's what the website
Their
says.
sale ends in like 2 days.
yeah, so try it out.
Okay, but can we just like I've done free trials, and the 2 times I've done free trials, I forgot to stop the trial, and I got charged on my credit card both times. So I feel like it's a very dangerous.
They don't do that at Neural. My free trials ran out and I did not get charged.
Oh well.
They're
Okay.
they're ethical.
Well, it's not that it's not ethical. I guess you still
It's
put
not
your
ethical.
credit card in it. Okay, then it's not. Yeah.
It's a way
I was
for
just, yeah.
it sucks. Well, yeah, that was a hell of a question. I like that.
That's always a fun question.
Yeah, that's a
Hell of a
rabbit
question.
hole that we could go down for a very long time if really
Oh, yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
actually, my next question I had written down was like, if you guys had any favorite sample libraries or companies in general.
Stop.
So-
I like Spitfire.
No.
Oh, also,
yeah.
my favorite library is Mantra's Oracle.
Nice.
I love
There you go,
Oracle.
valid.
It's
That's
so
the plug.
good.
Hell yeah.
I respect that.
That's my boy.
They're so
I'm
good.
gonna second that out of just out of principle.
Yeah, if you're looking for
Fair.
dark sounds, we got you. We do
Monstrous.
some pretty intense dark sounds.
I'm so sorry
Monsters.
that I
Love
seem to
it.
be the only one who hasn't actually tried any Mantra plugins.
Well,
I'm very sorry about
You're a
that.
loser.
It's fine.
I
You're,
dare you.
you're forgiven. Well,
Okay, Nusha, same here. Same here.
Oh,
I've
thank
just listened
you.
to Jack.
No, they're amazing. If you have,
No, I don't doubt it.
No
100% I don't doubt it.
yeah, we just kind of went through plugins, so I don't think we need to get into sample libraries too much.
Yeah. No.
But
My
we can get into.
favorite sample library is Compact.
Oh my god.
Stop. Next
Mine is
question.
Mantra.
A child.
Next
My
question.
favorite sample library is YouTube.
YouTube. YouTubeMP3.com.
YouTube
Yeah,
MP3 converter.
yeah. Yeah, YouTube videos. I just get my
Um,
samples exclusively from YouTube videos.
My favorite is whatever George happens to
much.
send me.
Yes.
My favorite sample library is Copyright Strike.
Yeah. Let's get into hardware. So,
Ooh.
Ooh.
are there any like MIDI controllers or pieces of hardware in general that really make you just oh.
Oh.
Arturia.
Is that a
Arturia
good thing or a bad thing?
all the way.
An amazing thing.
I think that any pianist should get Arturia hardware just because
Yeah.
it's the closest thing to an actual piano touch feeling, and it
Really?
makes such
I
a
don't-
huge difference in terms of like
Yeah, I've been
Do you
thinking
have
of buying
the,
Arturia actually.
Noosh, do you have the 88 key?
No, I really want to get it though. But it's it's a higher budget.
Yeah,
so-
for sure.
So wait, so actually the weighted keys of the Arturia's regular MIDI interfaces is that good?
It's really good. It's
They're pretty
Really?
the touch, the length of the keys themselves, the height of the keys is really good.
Mhm.
It's really
actual pressing.
it's really well designed for pianists, I find.
Also
So I
super-
really
super slick. I
But
like
how
it.
Yeah.
about the
Just
actual
love the
pressing,
color.
the weighted of them? How do you
yeah,
find
no, that the weight is perfect. Like I'm
Really?
honestly, I love them. Like I
That's-
swear by Arturia MIDI keyboards.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
It's good to know.
They're very
I've only ever
nice.
tried I've only ever tried the smaller one, like the mini.
Mm-hmm.
and,
Same.
The MIDI
honestly-
MIDI key.
Key
MIDI
step?
Yeah,
lab,
the
like that.
keys.
MIDI
Yeah, I
lab
think
is what
that one.
it's called.
And the little key
keys,
band,
yeah.
like for like the small keys, they're absolutely probably the best for the price, in my opinion.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the
There's-
few
yeah,
little
they're
MIDI
dope.
keyboards that I've like tried out and stuff, they're really
I haven't
good.
tried out their smaller ones, but
Yeah.
I have a whatchamacallit. I don't know how many this is.
Do you have
the one right below
64 key?
88? Yeah,
49.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got a
sorry.
64 key one, and it's
69.
fucking great. It's really close.
Oh yeah.
Although the person that sold it, I bought it like whatchamacallit? When you buy it off someone else, third party.
Secondhand.
Secondhand.
Secondhand?
Yeah. And he fucking sold me with the faders broken. Like,
Oh my
they,
God.
They just go
Oh, yeah.
ballistic on the numbers, and I'm like,
Oof.
But I just disable them and don't use them. The
There you go.
keyboard is amazing, and
Mhm.
most of the other faders work great. Very happy with
Nice.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, piece of hardware. Like I'd say like the only piece like that I own, like it's literally my interface, my audio interface. That's what makes the biggest difference for me for things I own. But I could go off about gear porn, about all the
Oh,
vintage stuff
yeah.
that makes me drool. But I have the thing that's made the biggest difference for my like actual like for home recording, because I bought bunch of new stuff for home setup, was I bought a good pair of like a better pair of microphones.
Mhm.
But the audio interface I use is what's it called? U audio or UAD. Universal Audio.
Ah,
Yeah, I have the twin quad core is what I got.
Yo.
Yeah,
DSG.
I treated myself. I splurged a little.
Yeah.
But that's actually I really like that one. Literally just because I'm not a fan of the fact that they kind of hijack the ability for you to use as many plugins as you want of theirs on as many instances, because the DSP of the of the app runs off of the interface, which does offload a bit on your computer, but it means that if you decide to try to do any mixing or stuff remotely on your computer without your audio interface in, you can't use your plugins. And if you go over, there's a certain level of how much it'll do. And once you pass that, in order to continue using more of their things, you need to buy another processor of theirs, which costs another $2 or $3 grand. And that's what you have to do in order to use as many as you want. So it's a bit of a pain. But for recording, because their emulations of audio of of their preamps are really good. So if you want to be able to try to get some good sounds of like analog gear for preamps, like if you want to run it through like a Neve or a V76 or any of these kinds of really expensive and oftentimes stupid rare pieces of gear, that it'll cost you maybe like a couple $100 from them rather than 10 grand to buy one, and then you have to upkeep it and all that fun stuff. So if you're looking for a way to have that more vintage professional sound, that will make a huge difference, because a really good microphone into a shitty preamp will still sound shitty. A shitty microphone into a good preamp will sound a lot better. So that's, out of all the gear that I have, is that and my headphones. A good pair. I have a really good pair of open back headphones that I use for mixing. That's also made a huge difference in the quality of my mix.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I just realized this goes back to the plugins thing, but has anyone ever heard of Sonarworks or Reference?
Yes,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sonarworks. What? Sorry. Sonarworks. What?
Sonarworks Reference.
Yeah.
It's basically kind of like it whatever things you have inside, it has like a profile, like an EQ calibration for whatever it is that you put inside. For example, if you have like a pair of headphones, if the headphones is within its system, they have an EQ of it, and they just kind of like take the EQ of your thing, invert it so that you try to get like a flat response out of your mixing, which is really good for just kind of starting to like learn how like listening to music and just trying to get yourself around like mixing. I found it really useful just because now you have like a reference for everything and kind of like a little bit more of an expectation of what the original artist was wanting. But I don't know. I just wanted to say that because you made me think of headphones, and I'm like, that's probably an amazing little tool as well.
On Sonarworks, because we have that installed at our workplace, I have a little bit of beef with that program, just because the only problem I've noticed with that is it's made for headphones specifically, is what it's made for. And that's where it excels. When you're doing it not with headphones, at least in my experience with what we've had at work, if you're in a really well acoustic room, it's fine. Like, you don't need it, and you shouldn't have to have it. If you're in a bad acoustic room, then you shouldn't be listening to mixing on your speakers anyway, because it's not, no matter what, it's not going to make a difference. But the program itself can sometimes hijack your computer and cause problems from what we were noticing. Like, we tried opening DAWs and stuff, and it was just fucking with our speakers and with getting playback and stuff like that. So if you get it and if you're using headphones, it's really good for that stuff. But if you're trying to set it up in a good acoustic treated room to make your speakers good or work well, it's not going to make it may cause some problems in terms of playback and stuff like that. And if you're in a really bad environment, then you should only use headphones still. So anyway, that's my little rant on them. But for headphones, I've heard like it does really good. If you do have it for a good pair of headphones, it can make a huge difference, actually, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
it does.
I've been using it for the last month or so because I have a really shitty room that's just a small box with no treatment.
Yeah.
And turning it on and off with the headphones, you're like, so that's what it's supposed to sound like. That's why my mix sucks. Yeah.
Good.
Sorry
for the little tangent there.
It's a good tangent.
It's a good tangent, though. It's a good point to bring up.
Yeah. Now that you talked about that, it reminded me of a MIDI keyboard we once talked about in one of our classes. if I remember, it's called like the Rolly or something like that.
Yep.
Yes.
Rolly,
Rolly, yeah.
ROLI.
Word.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also a good one if you can if you can
Yeah.
splurge for it. 'cause
Money.
Which I
Yeah.
have
very
like
special.
mixed feelings about the Rolly because there are
Yeah.
different ways that you can get the same effect, but I think it is that
Absolutely.
whole like extra money thing. Like I don't think that
Yeah,
it's
it's definitely
necessary.
like that. That like
Well,
if you want to play with this effect like in person, then you buy this
Yeah.
keyboard. Yeah, but I just felt like adding that because it is a nice little side keyboard that you could get and experiment
Yeah,
with. Because
definitely.
I've seen people do that, and it is a nice keyboard. So
Yeah.
that's
And it
another
is
one.
fun. It's fun to do it yourself too,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like it's really good if you're trying to go for like adding realism and a little bit more of the human touch into a virtual instrument. It can be really good for it. But as your main computer or main one, if you're trying to do chords and play like a piano on it, it gets really weird because of the way of what it is. It doesn't work super well. But also, not all VST instruments work with Rolly, so a lot of them are not really compatible yet. Which means that you may get it, and all the virtual instruments do, you can only use it just like any other keyboard. And so it depends on what instruments you're using will actually will Rolly make a difference for you. That's something
Yep.
also to consider. If you're thinking about getting it, you should do a bit of research into the ones you use and see its compatibility.
Mhm.
Because otherwise you buy it and they're like,
Yeah.
I can't do anything with it.
Womp
Great, it's the
womp.
same as my other.
It's really a gimmick keyboard.
Yeah,
is what
it is gimmick, yeah. It's which
Treat
is
it
not
as like
bad.
a treat it
Yeah,
as
it's
like
not
a
bad.
It
separate
is so
synthesizer.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Treat it as like as an extra instrument, and it's just another like element to your arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Like a theremin kind of thing.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
on that topic, there's another expressive keyboard that's coming out from a company called what are they called? Expressive E, called Osmos.
Oh yes.
Is that
Oh,
the one with the
yeah.
floating
It
keys?
looks it's kind of in a similar vein of like the Rolly, except disregard the whole foam keyboard. It's a
Yeah.
natural keyboard, but like every single aspect of like every key has like kind of like a sensitive element to it. Like if you press, you have like your normal velocity level or your range of a key, and then you can press a little bit further for that
Yeah.
aftertouch, or go even
Yeah.
further, and then you can like shake it, wobble
Mhm.
it, bring it
Yeah.
up.
It's the upgraded roll. Yeah.
This
It's
I
Kind of, yeah.
do believe that this one is a little bit more worth it than the Rolly. Like I
Yeah, but
remember when they first announced it was
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, they still
Actually, it
haven't
was like
released
last
it
year
yet.
or 2 years ago. Yeah.
No, but when they
It's
were
still,
first announcing like making it, when they were first
Yeah.
just the
Oh,
development
yes,
of it
yeah.
was years ago. Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
haven't released it yet, and there's some like I think production issues currently thanks to
Mhm.
COVID. But
Yeah.
we'll see
And
where
it
it
is
goes.
also like quadruple the price of a Rolly, so maybe
Yeah.
be careful.
An
hitting that
80 key
2,000
Rolly
mark
is
now.
1,500 Canadian, right? Yeah, it's 1,500 Canadian.
Fuck that.
This is 1,790. I'm on their website right now. It's 1,799, so 1,800, I think, American. So it would come up to 2,100. So you're paying about
Yeah,
$600
it's a
more.
lot more.
This would be the sploosh.
On
Yeah,
on-
the sploosh.
The sploosh.
on MIDI keyboards, if you're looking to like, because actually is another thing, if you're interested in what the Rolly does, but you don't want to spend that, and you're also not sure if kind of, because it is at the moment still a bit of a not like a gimmick. If you're looking for another like a controller that will allow you to do this, I think Brandon, I think I've seen a picture with you having, but the Touche. Yes, that
There it
exactly. That
is.
is
Oh, yeah.
that's
I love this
phenomenal.
motherfucker. I absolutely love this motherfucker. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
a
so good.
phenomenal piece of gear.
And what's great about it is that the issue with the Rolly Seaboard is that it uses a standard called MPE, I think.
Yeah.
This one is just MIDI data. That's it, you know? So you go into there, it's got its own special kind of like, it's a virtual instrument, and it already has some like extra like direct connections with like Arturia stuff, so you can control some Arturia stuff with it as well. But if you wanted to, you can map it fairly easily, you know? So, and to be fair, the instrument that it comes with, the VST, is fucking great. I love the basses on it. They're so growly and distorted, and you just get to control it and wiggle it. It's so good. But yeah, basically it gives you all of that finite control, you know. It's like if you had like a modulation and a pitch bender wheel on steroids. This is basically what that is.
Hell yeah.
And it's great. So it kind of bridges the gap between the expensiveness of a fucking keyboard, but with this, you know, and the familiarity of the keyboard. You can get, I think, the This is the MIDI only one. There's also one that does CV out and CV singles for like analog gear, but the MIDI one is I think around 200 or something.
Yeah,
So,
they have. What is it? The regular Touche is $399, but then the Touche SE, which I think is the one you're talking about, the MIDI only, is $229. So it's not not too bad actually.
It's not too bad.
Yeah,
It's a bit of blues, but I mean, it gives an extra sense of depth and control, which is always great. It's
Well, I
like
think
faders in a console.
Oh, and they're the same company that makes the Osmos that you're just referring to as well. They're the same company, so they have that same kind of the same way of working about it is the same thing, which is
And they're mad lads.
They're mad lads. Absolutely.
God damn.
Dude, the Osmos looks like it was made from like if Apple was making synthesizers, they would have made that motherfucker. Jeez, it looks so sleek, so sleek. Ugh.
The Nintendo Wii of synthesizers.
The Nintendo Wii.
Where's my wine glass?
I'm looking at it right now, and oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, no, I gotta turn that off.
Yeah, I might have to turn off the cam for a bit there.
Yeah, I can't. I'll go back to that later.
Your parents come into your room. What are you looking at? Nothing, Mom. Nothing.
Just watching sports.
Mom. I swear, Mom.
I swear I was just watching porn.
Be a lot less embarrassing. I got another question from the chat. This is from Matt, who some of you may know from the first month at Concordia.
Yes, Matt.
My boy.
I'm gonna boil down this question from a paragraph to a sentence. So do you guys think that I'm not answering the whole thing, Matt?
No.
Since technology has come so far, particularly in sampling, do you guys think that there will ever be a time where players aren't really as relevant as samples, specifically drummers in his question, since we can program all their parts?
Yeah,
100% no.
Drummer, so yeah,
It's
definitely not. No.
No, it's it's the whole thing with when it comes to being able to tune in with each other. Let's say another musician needs to tune in with another musician. Like all those things are extremely human qualities. They showed how they try to program an AI to compose music, like who was it, Mozart, Bach, or whatever, and it sounded bad. It didn't sound good. Like, yeah, technically, like theoretically, it could sound good, but you always the human aspect. I mean, there's a reason why when you have a plugin that you have a VST instrument, it says like humanize, because that's the whole point. We're always trying to get to that human quality of instruments. So I really do not think if it does happen, it's not going to be anytime soon. No, theory versus musicality is two completely different things.
Yeah, they're also
we're at a point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Seb. No,
go ahead,
you,
Seb.
Seb.
Go ahead, Seb.
Battle
no,
of Sebs.
No, Seb, just go.
Damn it! No, you just go.
Splinter talk.
Seb will go.
Alright,
So,
all right, let's play rock paper scissors, okay?
Oh my God, no. Okay. Splinter.
So it's also the fact that like they're two completely different methods, and they all require like quite a lot of effort to make them properly, right? For you to actually get a sample map to work, you need to sit down and tweak it quite a lot and master it and make sure it's like properly balanced, things that players can just do intuitively. Whereas if you need to use players, you need to learn how to write for them. You need to know what the instrument does. So you need to know theory, like how to read notes and shit. So, I think just because of the fact that they're, regardless of whether, they're as good or not, or that whole argument of whether they can be replaced, just because they're so completely different ways of approaching it, I don't think either one will be obsolete anytime soon.
Well, I mean, also, regardless of like where we get recording.
I've got no boards here.
I mean, I think there's always probably going to be, a huge value to live performance. yeah, whether that's in recording or like actually seeing the people in person, which I mean, having not seen any live performances of music in the last year, I think that's become pretty apparent for a lot of people, like how different it feels. Yeah, and also plus, I mean, you're always going to need to have performers to make sample libraries.
True.
Yep.
Yes.
You need the
Yeah.
players.
True.
Don't forget
Fair.
that sample libraries are made with real sounds by real people
Yeah.
in the real world.
I think
In the mute zone.
for sample libraries, like I don't think like because like when the synth came into play, back when it came out, I don't remember the date. Anyway, when it came out,
Last
there was a
year.
time-
It was during the Baroque
there was a
period.
time in the UK where they actually the performance union, art performance union, essentially tried to ban all synthesizers from being used in live performances because there were groups that used to have a string section. They just get two guys on a synth, and that was taking money away from them. And so there's this huge fear that synthesizers are going to take over. But as we know now, synthesizers have not taken over. We still use live performances all the time, and we hear the difference. And I do think that perhaps there may become a time, like the other thing is we do hear samples so much more than we think we do. And it comes from, like Seb said, like you have to really learn, like learning to program to make a sample sound real is a skill, and it's a hard skill to do. And there are some instruments that you just cannot sample. Like guitars are really hard to do.
Garbage.
And percussion, the thing about percussion, speaking as about drumming particularly, like the drum machine did not replace drummers. If people use drum machines because they can get a specific sound out of it, yes, but they didn't replace the drummers. And I don't think sample libraries do, because there still is like, the thing about sample libraries is you can still usually, like if you hear to be able to make a sample library sound like a real drummer, you have to be a drummer or understand drummer. Like you have to be a drummer to make it sound realistic. Like you have to, because the little nuances that go on in there, like any drummer will be able to pick it up. Just like I can hear a guitar,
my God.
that's a sample library. Same thing we can do with strings.
And piano. I hate people who like they just put the piano line in a sample library and they don't do anything to it. And I'm like, dude, that's not how pianos sound like.
I've been there. I've done that.
And there's also the point that like we're approaching it as like completely out of touch composers that like only care about they only care about like musicians and sounds as far as they're useful for us in our music, right? But like people just like to perform stuff. Like the people just like to play music and shit, So no one's like, and like I like to watch people perform. I would much rather watch someone perform the oboe than have a perfectly rendered sample library of an oboe.
If you,
it's just
talking about drums, if you gave a composer a choice of having someone actually play a drum loop or just a simple drum loop, the composer will 100% of the time choose the drummer, because the drummer can just give like this like realistic interpretation, this like really like emotional interpretation to something that can be deemed mundane. Like while you're on a machine, it just sounds like a machine doing it. So there's always a value in like with actual people playing the music in front of you than like just some robots.
You also get this, just seeing their
behind a
faces,
computer.
Right?
Yeah, I think anything that has to do with technology, technology is there's always this misconception that technology is going to take over the world. It's going to replace all human beings. It's going to replace all jobs.
Dude,
but
hell
I think...
dope.
Seb's all for it.
Dope. Get rid of all the shitty McDonald's jobs. Yeah.
No, honestly. But I think what it's doing... I think what it's doing rather is making the world more accessible. Like if you are talking about McDonald's jobs, get rid of that. Give those people other jobs instead. Something, I don't know.
Dignified, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They can be the engineers for the ice cream machine. How about that?
But it's
McDonald's?
It's the fact that it doesn't take away anything from human beings. If anything, it gives us possibilities and more accessibility to our actual world. So no.
Preach, Noosh.
Like honestly, they replace the mundane jobs and offer us new ones. Like that's really what it does. Like it offers more opportunities.
Well,
and I think the place where sound libraries, like sound libraries, will excel at a bit, and do a really good job in, is in giving textures and stuff that are really hard to perform or impossible to
Yep.
perform. Like say okay, like at where I work, we make sounds that you couldn't perform. You couldn't ever hear them in any other way than our instrument.
Yeah.
And same thing, like I take like Spitfire's Tundra, Albion Tundra.
God, yeah.
That one's really good, and the reason why it's good is because what they're the whole premise of it is trying to record at the softest and quietest sounds that are humanly possible to play, and to get a whole orchestra to do that is really hard, and to get that stuff. So I feel like in sample libraries, at least in my opinion, those are where the things that you can't really play very well, or there's no way to play, or impossible to play or whatnot, or in new sounds that venturing into new sonic possibilities. That's where they will excel at, in ways that performances can't. But in recreating a live performance, I don't think we'll like it. It could happen at some point, but there needs to be some major changes in the industry to happen, because there's nothing at this point that allows us to do that. It's just it's not. There are some that can do really well, but also Christian Henson from Spitfire, he says that a sample library can make you can be like really good and make you feel an emotion, but a real orchestra, a real performance, but a real performance, a real recording will make you cry.
Yeah.
A sample library can't get there is an element of humanality, whatever.
Humanality.
Aspect. Yeah.
The human element.
Humanity, guys.
Humanity. Come on.
Yeah. It's the difference between being sad and
guys,
crying.
humility, guys.
Exactly.
I can't believe you.
Humility.
Humanosity, for fuck's sake.
Humanosity.
I have a producer friend. I have a producer friend. He often hires string players. He also has access to libraries, and he says that a great kind of like, if you want to maybe consider like a lower budget option from having an orchestra, or I guess the lowest option being having a sample library, is you can hire violinists, cellists, performers to go and play on top of the sample library as well. Blend it in, you'll get a slightly more organic feel. You get the balance of both, which is great and cheaper, you know. So and he does it all the time, and so like obviously being a good mixing engineer, if you got your ways around it, you can make it sound pretty darn close. Never perfect, but pretty darn close. And as long as it does its thing inside the song, it does what it does, you know. So
well, as well as that's pretty common with like recording a soloist, but then backing them with samples.
Exactly.
And the thing is, something that I don't think like it's more frequent than I think any of us really would realize. But in big Hollywood films, when you hear these big epic orchestral sounds, all the time there are samples mixed in with it, because it's like the difference when you listen to, say, amazing like John Williams scores, and like the earlier Bernard Herrmann or Leonard Bernstein, their early scores, that insanely epic orchestral sound, you can't get that with just one orchestra. Their music's amazing. Nothing against that at all. Nothing there. But the Avengers sound that you hear now and stuff, it's mixed. The orchestra is so heavily mixed with synthesizers and other samples to give it that pump, that oomph to it, that you just can't get with a real orchestra. So we actually probably because we hear samples more often than I think any of us realize. But it's that, as you said, Brent, like that blending them together that gets you that really interesting thing. So I think like that's you can get some really interesting sounds away, and it happens on the uber professional level all the time. And so
there you go.
That's kind of actually how it's done in most cases.
Yeah, as far as I understand, most people, most composers layer a shit ton of sample. Oh, just layer. They just layer.
Layer. All over the place.
But you guys are super lucky, I just have to say, because like you guys are surrounded by such amazing like musicians all around you because of school, right? And it like I look, for example, on the EDM spectrum, where maybe they've just been learning like alone for their whole time, never going to school or anything like that, and they don't have access to it, and I think that's an amazing thing that I don't know if I won't say you guys take it for granted or anything like that, but you guys have access to it, and it's beautiful,
And it's true that sometimes people might take it for granted. Like
Yeah.
A lot of people like to really like individualize their music and make it like super about them and about like their inner experience, but a lot of it is social.
Yeah, which is it's kind of stupid because like again in the industry, seldom any of it is actually solo. You know, you do end up working with so many people, no matter where you are in the industry, at least with one other person. So
Yeah.
I don't understand. I think that this group, I can safely say that we've kind of been, you know, part of the people who've taken advantage of our resources at school. But I personally do not understand those who do not take advantage. If you're going to pay tuition, if you're going to pay thousands of dollars, you know, use that money towards actually, I don't know, networking or something, or
just like using the research. Just
Well, I'd
using
say
the
like
resources, just meeting people and shit.
Well, frankly, in my opinion, like if you're going to go to school for pretty much any art, in my opinion, it's like you can like some of the greatest artists were self-taught and learned by themselves. Like that's how most of a lot of the famous artists that we look up to is. I think the thing that school, like if you decide to go to school for music or art or anything, that the best thing you can do is like you're essentially paying for connections, which is why it's good to know, like go to this, check out the school, check out the vibe. If you feel like you will vibe with the professors and with the other students there, then that's a great school to go to.
Yeah.
You know, don't go to school just for the sake of going to school, because
It's all about the vibe.
I totally agree. Like the connections you make will help you make you a better composer, musician, artist, whatever. Like I've been more influenced, like some of the best influences and experiences I've had with it helping me in my career and my artistic dreams have been come from, like, frankly, showing half of you guys what I've been doing and be getting your guys' opinions and having these kind of discussions.
Yeah.
That's where I get a lot of stuff, and I feel like that helps me a lot longer. It's not Harmony 1. That didn't, like, great, okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's not what made me an amazing musician, made me a good musician and good composer. It's the connections and feedback and working and collaborations. That's what, you know, that's what it is. Like when you think of these amazing composers or were viewed as amazing composers, unless you're like John Williams, who does all of his own writing, just about every other composer has a team of people that they work with, like an orchestrator and all that kind of stuff. And so the ability to work as a team is an important thing. You know, like it's not really a thing. If you're not a team player, good luck.
Yep.
Also, that idea.
I have a little. Sorry. Okay, I'll just go quickly.
Yes.
I have a little problem with the term self-taught, not for using it, but I do have a problem with the interpretation of self-taught.
Yeah.
If you
agree.
tell someone, let's say like I was self-taught, they think that you were like completely alone. And the truth
I was
is
born
that
in a forest, and music just kind of came to me. And
but
the neurons in my brains like tried really hard and conceptualized the musical structure that we use.
If we take Danny Elfman, for example, just as an example, right? Danny Elfman's strong suit is percussion and rhythm. And one way he actually learned that was during his travels, he went to Africa, and that's where he learned, because he was in a group of people who taught him. You could say, you know, like, and then you could say he's self-taught because
Not
like he didn't
classically trained.
And he didn't take like a curriculum, but he still seeked out like people to help him. So like the problem I have with the term self-taught is more the interpretation of it, because I do believe that some people, they don't understand what does self-taught mean. It doesn't mean that you're alone in your room. It could mean that, obviously, but you're even those who are self-taught, quote unquote, still go out to learn. Like they might go to a different country to learn something new. It's not them by osmosis. They go to a different country and then by osmosis they learn rhythm.
No.
No, exactly. Term is taught differently. That's the proper term.
But also, I mean, just throughout history, like that has historically not been the case, that sort of the most enduring or well-known composers are self-taught. Like pretty much every composer that we've talked about in the music history course that I put off taking my first year, that I'm now taking. You know, like there's, I mean, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but it feels like there's basically like a through line from the like Gregorian chants to like X person has taught Y person has taught Z person, and like you can just basically trace that for centuries. Like and that's not to necessarily say that that one tradition, which is, you know, Western classical music, is better, which it isn't. But just that historically, if you succeed, it's probably because someone very talented taught you. And you have a connection with, you know, other people who are also doing that.
Yeah, well, it's like, and the thing is also like that I find interesting is that when it comes to today's time, like you can go online and learn just about anything. And so you can, to an extent, teach yourself, which is why.
But even then, you're taking resources from online.
Exactly. No, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like that's the thing is like you are taking lessons. You are learning from people. If you read a book that someone wrote and you read it and you learn something from it, you are learning from that person still. So it's definitely not this all of a sudden Alakazam, I learned everything myself. It's but just that you're motivated enough to find the resources to learn it.
Yeah. Like I'll definitely say this with 100% confidence. I have self-taught myself extended techniques in piano. There is no one that taught me that, but that's because there is
Shut the fuck up, Nusha. You can't go on a rant going like, yo, people who say self-taught are fucking stupid, and it's not the meaning of the world. But by the way,
everybody hated that.
Excuse me. What I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is that that is an example of actual self-teaching to its full extent, because I literally just spent time with a freaking piano and played on the inside. But that is, I think. Okay, can you? I don't
You're right. It's just
I'm trying
the way that it followed from the conversation wasn't good optics. Is all I'm saying.
The way it was presented.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying to give it on the other side.
No, you're completely true. You're self-taught because you didn't.
But I'm not
learn it from
self-taught
anywhere
piano.
else.
Piano wasn't something I was self-taught. It was just the extended techniques, and that's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, exactly.
That is something that
comes from experimentation.
That is what is self-taught is experimentation. Okay.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well,
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Moral of the
I do
story.
think there's also one thing that is interesting to note as well, that I think if you want to, like, as an artist, if you like, okay, not if you want to be successful, but I think a good aspect of it is constantly evolving, constantly learning, and having that growth mindset in terms of constantly, like Mozart learned counterpoint, like studied counterpoint right before, up until he died from Bach, because he was introduced to Bach at a later age and learned an insane amount of stuff, and you can hear it in his music. And I think that goes for you constantly have to be learning stuff. As an artist, like as you said, usually like exploring new techniques. Like David Bowie is the best example of this out there, but like constantly evolving, constantly changing. Now you don't have to necessarily totally revamp and change everything about yourself every time you learn something new, but it's that doing, and that is self-teaching yourself. Like you are making your own curriculum for you, but which I know we've gone very far distance from school now. We've talked a completely different thing now, kind of gone down this rabbit hole, but. I do think the ability to learn something on your own from whatever resources you have, be it books, videos, blog posts, friends, mentors, whatever, but that ability to learn is a really important aspect of it. Because the thing is, you can go into school, we could all go into the same class and come out, same program, come out knowing very different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that like the best thing you can do if you want to improve is learn how to learn, how you learn, and get into this mindset of you're constantly trying to pick stuff up, trying to learn stuff. Like literally, I can't tell you how much I have learned from just picking up little tidbits from peers and mentors and online and stuff, like it's just these little things. Yeah. And then that's what I get. I have a whole bunch of these things from all these different places, and that's what makes up my curriculum for myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So moral of the story. Man is a social creature.
We live in a
Hell is
society.
other people.
We live in society.
Nothing's
read
right,
books,
nothing's wrong.
And we live in a
and
society.
eat your oatmeal. There you go.
Eat your oatmeal.
Oatmeals are high in sugar, though, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dinosaur egg gang.
eat your gluten-free.
I'm just gonna
coffee
stick to
bar.
the air. I'm a
Yeah, not
breatharian,
gluten.
so you know, it is
Breatharian?
what
Good
it
on
is.
you. Good
I
on you.
only feed off of breath and air.
Early breath man.
Oh my god.
Good on you.
Guys,
Congrats.
I was saying we're gonna get political here, guys.
I made
Um,
no such promises.
Oh yeah, Seb wasn't here when we did that.
Of course, the
That's true.
commie over here.
Sayo.
And copyright strike.
You
Sorry,
fucking imagine.
Twitch, don't ban us. Don't ban Juke, please. Or it's pronounced hoof.
Hoof. Yeah, it's hoof. And justice
Oh,
for
yeah,
hoof.
hoof. That sounds like what a
That's like
Spanish
hoof.
person would say for
Yeah.
Jeff.
Houston for
Hey, it's
Hoof.
my amigo Hoof. How you
¿Qué pasó,
doing?
hoof?
Oh my
¿Qué
god.
tal, hoof? All right, we're done.
But yeah, the whole topic kind of like brought me back to before I started taking guitar lessons, because there was like a solid 5 or 6 years when I started playing where I was like adamantly against taking lessons because I'm like, it's going to ruin my creativity. I had no fucking creativity. I wrote the shittiest songs of my life. I deleted them all. They don't exist anymore.
Good for you.
Good. Yeah, I feel that.
And then I started
That
taking
growing period is very important.
and like at that time people would always be like, oh my god, you're self-taught. And I'm like, well, not really, because like I spend like 8 hours a day watching YouTube videos of other guys playing guitar. I just haven't sat down with a teacher and personally taken lessons. And then as soon as I started taking lessons, I was like, wow, I fucking suck.
Yeah.
I would be so much better if I took lessons from like day 2.
Yeah, I think I think this whole idea is just like, it's just an excuse to make it seem like music is not work, but it's work.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
the-
like how some people say like talented.
Yeah, it's
Right.
it's work.
Like we use that word a lot, but like it's like a trigger for a lot of us because it's like, yeah, talented.
Definitely.
You know, it's not like I
Oh my
just broke my
gosh.
fingers for a million.
It's
fucking
so
years.
inside
Yeah.
you. You're
Yeah.
so talented.
Not that I've ever broken my fingers playing music, mind you, but
Yeah, like obviously there's going to be certain skills that some people can pick up a little bit faster than others.
Mhm.
But that doesn't make you Paganini.
No.
oh yeah.
You don't just pick up a violin at 5 and play Paganini. You work your ass off for
Or,
decades.
yeah, rather your
I mean,
parents
you
work
don't
your
play
ass
one
off.
scale and then you don't play one scale and then you're suddenly least.
Yeah.
You know, you
Don't-
gotta work for that
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah, don't forget that Mozart, when he first started doing performances, everyone, all the critics were like, he sucks. His sister's gonna make it. He's never gonna make it in the world.
Oh yeah.
He was
Yeah.
also a child.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
Telling that to a child.
his okay. That's
yeah.
Mozart is
You're
a
never
Mozart is a
gonna
whole
make it.
other story
yeah,
because his,
this fucking kid will never amount to anything.
no, but you know, the thing is that his dad was actually insane. Like his dad
Yes.
would basically just produce children. Like he just wanted to produce.
Well, like produce as in music produce.
I love that you use
Yeah.
that word.
Yeah. But no, he would he actually. Fun fact: Mozart's dad kidnapped his nephew so that he
Nice.
can get him to become the next prodigy.
Very good.
Super normal.
So yeah, sorry, not nephew, his grandson. So yeah, he was insane.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Different culture, different time.
Jeez.
Well,
it was never okay.
Uh-oh.
It was never okay.
Everyone has to go through like, you know, practice frustrations and stuff, you know, when you can't play this one passage. Everyone's been there, guys. When you say talented, it's because they had to work for it.
Oh yeah.
You know, you had to,
True.
like everyone at the beginning when they started
Truth.
playing scales for the first time, they go like do do do. Wait, fuck, that's not how you play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
damn,
whenever
too slow, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Historically, you know, really, really good performers, really good composers were all like tortured usually by their parents, like Clara Schumann, who was beat by her father every single time, and she was forced to play piano for hours and hours in a day.
That's
And
pretty
because she
cringe.
showed no reaction to her dad would beat her even more. Although, you know, she was super crazy powerful too, but it's that insanity. So it's not a good thing to always be like, oh my God, look at these guys in the 1700s, 1800s, they're so good. What excuse do you have?
Yeah.
I don't want to be abused. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I actually think there's a bit of a danger
100%.
in that comparison. Like I know there's a lot of people like for I think almost all of us who have been gone through or currently going through school, more of a classically trained for composition or just classically trained, have heard at one point someone say, "Oh, these people are gods. These people are amazing. We are like we're we really suck compared to these people." And we will maybe never see another day where we see composers like this or whatever. Or
like, bro, you're 20. Like, chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like the things like when you hear people talk about that kind of stuff, I think it's dangerous to do that comparison because, like as you said, you should like some of these people they started from such a young age and they went through a shit time to get to there, and they really probably didn't start enjoying their life until they were there, and then to that point they were like it was so like second nature for them. They're just like whatever, kind of thing, like And I do think that, and there's also that whole like time, like like the amount of time that they spent on to do that, like. If any of us were to do that, we would be like, it just would like, could you like the amount of time that Beethoven had to practice, you just like all the time he spent music or Mozart, and you then put it to our time starting now, or like starting when we were like, whatever age we decided to start from to now, dude, we'd still suck. And it would take us another like decade or two of working that hard to finally start getting to that level of their early stages. Cause they went through like, like 18 years of intensive all day studying.
Don't forget that Mozart died at 35 years old. Like,
exactly.
Also, this constant like comparison, like, I hate it. I mean, I know it comes from the fact that we have to like market ourselves and whatever, but this whole like competition when talking about art is really annoying. It's just like, let me do my Nintendo 64 beats, okay? Just
yes,
okay?
please.
You have to qualify me, okay? I like my Nintendo 64 beats, and you can go fuck off.
Yeah.
Also, I'm still stuck on like baby Mozart just being like, I like fire trucks, and like the critics just like, you know what else you like? Failure.
Like, you'll never be as good as Bart.
Yeah, my mind is still there. Like,
oh god, yeah. I don't remember how old he was, but he was a toddler.
Yeah.
What? You put parallel fifths in your harmony assignment? What the hell do you think you were doing?
Yeah. You're scum. It's like, oh.
But Seb does bring out like this really good point that like there's this idea that you just have to compare genres of music to each other, and like, just like this comparison that's constantly being made, like, oh, pop is better than rock, oh, video game music is real music, and I've heard all these things said before, and it's just so stupid. You don't need to compare two genres that have such different approaches, that have such different mindsets.
Especially genres themselves, because like genres themselves have like they come out from a different genre, like as in like it keeps evolving itself rather than just like a genre coming out of nowhere. Like a genre comes from something, whether it's a different genre or an instrument that was built or whatever. So it's kind of stupid to criticize a whole genre. Now you can criticize a song in that genre. But not the whole genre itself.
As long as
don't,
it's
like,
based on opinion.
generalize the genre. Yeah, exactly what Dallas said. Just don't like keep your opinion as an opinion.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
I see it a little too often on those like classic rock Facebook groups or whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think I need to say any more.
Like, yeah.
Like those classic rock music videos where it's like, I remember when music was good back in the day. I'm just like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Roll back in your hole,
like,
dude.
any acoustic cover of like any pop, rap,
Hallelujah.
etc. song, and people are like, it's so much better because it's not the genre that it originally was. It's like, yeah.
Did someone create it? Did they do it with artistic intent? Then it's music. There you go. Shush.
There you go.
And also, if you like something that's popular, just don't be scared of liking it in front of
Yeah,
other people.
you can like whatever you
Some
like.
people are just so scared. It's like, oh, you like Kenny G? Uh-oh, I don't like you no
Kenny
more.
G.
Oh no.
Well,
I still
part
blast
of that goes back,
Darude
like, this just goes
Sandstorm.
back to
Me too.
Oh my god, Brandon.
Darude Sandstorm. Yeah, you're gonna tell me that Darude Sandstorm doesn't qualify as high art? Go fuck yourself.
It's complex.
Oh my god.
That was
Alright,
so many years of my life not admitting that I love Kesha.
There you go. I love it.
Is this like our coming out like moment for all,
That's
for
my
all
next
of the,
question.
like genres of
What are
that?
your guilty
Fan of
pleasures
Gangnam
when
Style,
it comes to
guys.
music?
What were you gonna
Not-
say, Jeff?
Not gonna lie, guys. Nyan Cat's been in my iPod for
yeah.
Oh
10
boy.
years.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Here we
Right.
go.
Your Twinkle
Um,
Twinkle Little Star. If you're talking trash about that, you're dead.
Yeah,
You're
who
dead.
are you,
You're
dude?
dead to me.
Who are you?
Bro, you haven't even heard the variations. What do you know?
Oh my god. No, don't talk about that, Brandon. Don't talk about that.
Oh boy.
Analysis
Oh, boy.
peeps don't like that.
Let's not go there.
It's funny. I'm probably the only guy who hasn't done that here, and yet I can.
Oh, I didn't
still
do that
feel
either.
it.
No, I didn't do
Yeah.
that either, but I've heard
I
so
didn't
much
do
about
that
it.
Yeah.
No.
It's the intergenerational trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sandeep's analysis class.
Yeah.
Twinkle Twinkle in 37 variations.
Oh.
I'm so glad I got to do the
Dude,
RN.
I remember being at Dallas's place, and then I just see Nusha on the
Oh,
table
yeah.
just doing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star
Yep.
variations.
It hurt.
It was
It
fair.
was. I was crying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Um. Christian, you were gonna say something a little while ago. I forget.
Yeah.
You seem pretty
I
serious.
think we're just talking about. Yeah. Well, I was just saying, like, the whole premise of people not liking someone else due to their music taste. It goes. There's so much history back with that of it that could be. This is a huge rabbit hole. I don't want to go down it, but like, there's a huge amount of history and racism and stuff about that.
Yeah.
Also
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
back into that it's unfortunate we still see it so much today, but there's a large reason for that because of all the history of human bullshit
Yeah.
that we have to that is out there. But like, anyway, but I was just saying that there's so many reasons.
That is a good point, though. That is a good point to bring up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really sad that it steals away. Like the whole disco sucks thing. That essentially was.
Well, hold on. Some okay, disco.
No. Like no, I'm saying there was a whole movement that went out back in I think it was the 80s or 90s about disco sucks.
Oh my
What
god.
it really turned down to is it started off as this one white guy who went on a TV show talking about this and kind of got all these people who identified as rockers and stuff like that. But what it really turned into was essentially it turned into a racist anti-black music festival where essentially people were burning R&B, all these other genres, but the black artists I dubbed as disco, and it turned this whole disco sucks, which is why for years people have hated disco for so long. And that's just one example. Essentially, it started off as just one guy's opinion.
There are a lot of examples. Jazz
if
is
you tell me
also another
if you tell me
example.
Rasputin.
Yes, jazz is another example. Exactly. Like there's, like I'm not a fan of jazz that much personally, but it's there.
Yeah,
but
jazz definitely has its value. Like
absolutely,
there's
absolutely.
a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, like dude,
Love jazz.
Miles
I mean,
Davis.
if you want to see what racism in music is, you can just watch La La Land.
Oh,
Yeah,
got him.
That's a good
Yeah.
cinematographic.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just
Yep.
Hollywood giving itself a. I you know what? I'm not gonna say it. Just you can picture.
Yep. Self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
Damn, we're almost at 2 hours. So
Read about it.
and I have to go to work soon. So
Oh no.
Nothing. Leave him.
so I got one more question, then we're gonna do outros. So I'm just gonna finish it off with who are your favorite film or game composers and why is it Danny Elfman? I'm just kidding.
Can we all just seriously just answer Danny Elfman for the memes? Like, my favorite
Danny
video
Elfman, yeah.
game and movie composer is Danny Elfman.
Honestly,
No, Seb, no
though,
one's.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, Danny Elfman.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to say, it's Danny Elfman.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna just shout out Rachel Portman.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She is awesome. She was the first woman to get an Oscar for best composition for best what am I talking about? Best composer. But also just because her technique is just completely out there in terms of emulating breath in music. I think that she
that's
is
dope.
the best at it. Honestly, I don't think that anyone has ever come as close as she has to getting orchestras sounding like actual breathing and actual waves and actual. It's just like it's crazy. Like
She's
that's
uber
why
talented.
she gets all these like BBC dramas because it's so intense and like goofy.
yeah.
Because she needs to emulate that, to give that emotional connection to otherwise sometimes very boring stories. So no, I'm kidding. But honestly though, an absolute just joy to listen to in general, Rachel Portman.
And
Hell
I
yeah.
think one of my top favorite, if not the top, is Hilda Gudnadottir. Her music, her score for Chernobyl and the Joker,
Joker, yeah, I loved it.
phenomenal.
It's
If you
really
haven't
amazing.
watched Chernobyl, I highly recommend you check that shit out because it is such a good show, and the music for it is phenomenal. Like absolutely, she killed it. But and the thing about her is like what I really that's different, that why I really got into her was actually her approach to composition and her ability and like her and her approach to being a composer, and like what she does is just so different and it's so unique. Like I typically it's so easy to hear all these other film composers, and well, most of the people I listen to are film composers and video game composers, but a lot of them do very similar things. And she just kind of comes from out left field, has this whole different view on what it means to be a composer, and doesn't view herself as really as she's just I'm an artist, I'm a composer, I don't do one thing, I do whatever I want to do. And she's in a metal band. Like how hardcore and cool is that? Like she's an inspiration of mine that I think deserves more credit and to be viewed more. But she's also the first woman to win best film score.
No, she's not the first one. Rachel Portman is. She's the first one since Rachel Portman.
All right, that's good to know because all the media articles are wrong then, because they all say
they all
said she's the first.
They all said she was the first one to win it.
No, well, I think maybe in this century, but 1996 was when Rachel Portman won.
Maybe was it like a different category thing?
It used to be different comedic score and dramatic score, but she's but Hilda Gudnadottir is not the first composer, not the first female composer to win an Oscar.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and she's the first to win since they combined all of the categories together.
Okay, that's why. Okay, that's why they were saying that.
Which was 2000.
Yeah, so it is in this country.
Yeah.
Thank you for
clarification. I know my shit when it comes to this.
No, thank you for clarification. I'm glad to know that.
She's the music history buff here when it comes to cinema.
She was technically the first to. She was technically the first to win that specific award in the name, but not the first woman to win best score in general.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, but also, that sucks that it took that long. But anyway,
I mean, it was 14 years after, so I'm not 14. What am I? 24 years after, or something like that. It was a lot after, and it is way too long. To when you see how many. How many women we have in the industry. And I mean, the Oscars, that can get political because a lot of the Oscars.
We're going to go off a huge tangent if we start going into the politics of the Oscars. So maybe we'll that's a danger travel down.
I think it's just important for people to know, note that like the Oscars is not like the end all for like all, for prestige when it comes to awards, although it is amazing if you do get it, but
the award is gold. I don't get it.
But
obviously it's the best.
There's more politics that are involved with it than really anything else, which really sucks, but that's the reality of Hollywood.
And don't forget that a whole film that gets nominated in terms of like all the people involved in it, a lot of the time you can kind of pay to get more consideration, not necessarily win, but more consideration definitely has money behind it. So Oscars, just people should just know not to take it as gospel, as like these are the best people in the industry. They are definitely amazing, and they do deserve every credit. But just to keep that in mind.
Anyway, someone else.
Who's next? Favorite composer, film, game, media.
I've been on a Tandun kick recently, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's my favorite.
That counts.
Like Crouching Tiger,
Yeah,
Hidden
yeah.
Dragon, Hero.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hell yeah. Seb.
I actually wanna say something for video game actually,
Yes.
and that is a bunch of Darren Corbin stuff. So if you don't know who he is, he's the composer for Supergiant Games, or he's a songwriter really for Supergiant
Yeah.
Games, which
Mhm.
makes like Hades and you know
Yeah, Hades is
Bastion and all that
nuts.
stuff.
Yeah.
They have
Fire.
amazing music.
They
So
do.
that guy, like, that's probably like my favorite video game composer because he's mad good.
Yeah,
But I
it's
actually
funny,
want to talk about another soundtrack,
Mhm.
and it's
Uh-huh.
from a gotcha game. And
Oh.
the gotcha game is called Genshin Impact. Maybe some of you guys have heard of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It has great. It has phenomenal soundtrack. Like, it's really good. It surprised me how good it is. It's by
Yeah.
Yu Ping Chen. That's the name of the composer. And I kind of wanted to just highlight that because the music especially for a gotcha game is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny. I
is, yeah.
love like video game music, but I don't know any video game composers like specifically like by name.
Yeah.
No, none of them really come to mind.
Not even
I think-
the Hades composer. I mean the Doom composer. What's his name again?
No.
Well,
Well,
there you go.
exactly.
Exactly.
What? No,
I mean,
wait,
there's-
I got it.
Thank you for
There's
calling me
Harry-
out and
there's,
also proving my point.
Eric McCreary,
God
you know,
damn it.
sometimes when
Recording,
composers
there we go.
intersect between like film and video game, you kind of know them more. Like Barry McCreary is
Yes.
a video game composer, but he's also a film and TV composer as well.
I mean, there's like Jeremy Sewell, but he's the worst. So.
Oh.
Wait, isn't there also
Rip.
like Aaron Copeland?
Aaron
You know, like,
Copeland too.
Yeah, but I don't know if he did video games.
Yeah,
He did
that's-
Spyro. He did Spyro.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he did
Wait,
Spyro.
1 second.
First Spyro game.
Wait, are we
Wait,
talking about the
oh.
same?
Yeah, Aaron
Like
Copeland.
that
from the
Copeland?
Police- Yeah, that Copeland.
Wait,
Really?
Not
Doug
Stuart
Copeland.
Copeland.
Wait, I need to
Wait.
double check.
was-
Wait a minute.
Wait,
I mean, he died in
Seb, he died in 1990.
Yeah, I was
No,
thinking just
wait.
now. I'm like,
Oh,
yo.
No,
Wow.
like what's the name of the drummer from the Police? It's that guy.
Oh.
Oh, Sting.
Oh.
Copeland.
No, sorry, not the fucking.
No,
Seb.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I heard the police and I'm like, oh, Sting.
Okay,
It is Stuart Copeland.
Yeah,
Stuart Copeland.
Stuart Copeland. Yeah, not Aaron.
I got
Copeland.
the
Okay,
second
I was
there,
like,
sorry.
Appalachian Springs? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
no,
a
Video
good thing.
games.
Well, the Sebs here right now are being just fucking idiots.
Oh
Hey,
my
don't you
God.
fucking lump me in with you, alright? I recognized immediately, okay? That was an immediate, like, that was like, as soon as they left my tongue, I'm like, fuck.
It's okay. I also thought it was Aaron Copeland. And I thought Stuart Copeland was the dead guy.
Thank
That's
you.
alright.
Thank you.
I just like, when everyone was calling you out, I was just looking at your, like, profile picture. I'm just like, that's Seb right now. That is Seb right now.
Oh my
Um,
god.
All right.
Yeah.
Other Seb,
I don't
what you
know.
got?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, Dallas was going. Dallas, say it.
No,
Yeah,
I
go
was
Dallas.
just gonna say I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of specific film composers or video game composers, but I know I really like Marty O'Donnell from the Halo.
Hell
Goat.
yeah.
Goat.
Yeah.
Instant
Classic.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's break into Gregorian chant with the Halo theme.
No, no.
Please don't actually.
I love me some Ludwig Göransson. Not gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be,
You know,
yeah.
I'm really surprised no one said John Williams. I'm genuinely
I mean,
surprised.
yeah,
No one said
John
John
Well, because we're trying to,
Amazing.
I guess we're trying to
Yeah.
grab like our contemporaries, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
John
of
Williams
course-
doesn't count. Like, if he's not your favorite composer,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
s-
That's
no.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Not as a favorite.
He's in the that's a given category.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
Triple
he's
S
up,
tier.
He's up there in a space that just you can't touch. Like he's there and you can't touch him. He's there.
John Williams already knows he's one of the best, so
Yeah.
it's like calling Ennio Morricone your favorite composer. It's like, I mean, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like come on, the original.
Or Danny Elfman. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Damn. Called out.
I'm changing my answer to Ben Prenti.
Who?
Sorry.
Can you just say it again? You cut it a bit.
Oh,
Rip.
Jasper's gone.
No.
Oh, we went so long.
Jasper, no.
No.
A fallen soldier.
Don't go to the light.
In the
Hands
arms
up.
God damn it.
Yeah, here we
Okay.
go.
Um,
The
I forget
MCA
that
coming.
we're
No,
like
I think that
streaming
was
this.
so badly layered and off key that they're
yeah,
not
I
gonna
think they're
realize
fine.
what song it was.
If anything, they'll sue
Hell
me for
yeah.
defamation.
if anything's gonna be damaged, here, it's my pride.
he's back.
Yeah, okay, Jasper, can you just repeat the name you said?
Okay. Yeah, Ben Prunty. He did the Faster Than Light soundtrack, and it slaps.
Ah, okay.
That,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Brandon, I don't think you said anyone yet. Did you?
Yeah, I haven't. What's it's pretty biased.
Yeah.
But sorry. It's because I grew up playing. Obviously, well, we've a good majority of us played Final Fantasy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Games of the series.
Nobuo
So
Uematsu.
Nobuo Uematsu,
Yeah.
and I had a little.
Okay.
That's dope.
Our
I have a fun little
boy.
story too.
Such
I
a
have a fun little
good-
story
so
about
good.
Nobuo. I remember one of the otaku-thons, I think a few years back, he actually came as like a guest to do a Q&A.
Wow.
And
Oh,
I brought my
damn.
guitar, and that year I decided to take a few days off, just a few days to learn like a bunch of music from like different like animes and video games, just so I can go with my keyboard and like play it around and see if anybody
Awesome.
was actually a poser or not. No.
Well, now.
But I also brought it because I wanted to get my guitar signed by Nobuo. So I did that, and oh
Nice.
man, it was so fun. But I remember it was such a long lineup, and he had to like start leaving for like a whole nother thing that he was doing, a whole nother
Oh,
part in the
no.
convention. And I was right there at the very end, and my friends were like, "Come on, just let him go, just get him a sign." And then he comes, he waves me in. I put my keyboard onto the thing, I have it on, and while he's signing it, I'm playing like the victory theme, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I fucking
What?
love
So
it.
you
but-
actually got it signed?
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Hell
awesome.
yeah! Did you
It's
show it?
smudgy now. Let me see if I can grab it. If it's still
Yeah,
there.
dude.
Grab it so I can forge it
That's
onto
the
my
kind of
stuff.
thing you gotta laminate and fucking preserve for life, dude.
Yes.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
in rough
man.
shape too these days. It's pretty sad. Like
Yeah.
he said he's
What a
worked on his
legend.
final score.
Damn it.
Mm.
It's so
Oh.
smudged. But one sec. Let me get myself. So I got it. I got the lead arranger and the and Nobuo. So this is Nobuo's, or used to be Nobuo.
Oh no!
And then this is the lead. I don't know
Just
why
retrace
he
it.
used like the colored one and not the actual like permanent ink black. This one lasted totally fine. This one didn't.
Nobuo
But-
used like a highlighter.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a composer, not a writer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Is that
it's
one
still
way?
there-ish. So that was a
That's
Oh,
amazing.
dude, that's
little
fucking awesome.
feeling.
Yeah.
It was so great. He was such a nice guy. Like, oh my god, he was like, obviously language barriers. So we were just both there, like, oh.
Just-
That's it. It was literally just communication was just strictly gasps. That's
Right.
all it was.
That's
You know.
awesome.
Me too.
Music.
And like head motions.
That's the best I could do in that situation.
So
Ay-ya-ya.
I don't
But yeah,
think
he-
Christian has said anyone yet. Have you? I
No,
don't remember.
Christian
You
has,
did.
Hildegard got
You
it.
were,
Good
yeah,
enough.
yeah. I remember now. Okay, so that just leaves me. And I have to choose 3.
That's not fair.
So special.
Nobuo Uematsu, because that's a given. That's a gimme. That's a free space. And Christopher Larkin, who wrote Hollow Knight and a bunch of other
Yes!
stuff.
Yeah,
Hollow Knight Gang. Hollow Knight Gang.
Sick.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I love it.
And
I'm gonna sing City of Tears.
please. Oh my god, Sam. And also Lena Rain. She wrote the score for Celeste,
Ah, yes.
which is phenomenal. And also Afternoon, I think it's Afternoon at Chicory's. It's a game that's not out yet. It's coming out. And it's just so quirky and so fun. And yeah.
My favorite.
And she also wrote for the Minecraft update. The Nether
Oh,
update.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
Cool
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And also a LGBTQ icon.
Hell yeah.
Dope.
Nice.
Gotta represent.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anything else
Sick.
from the crowd, from the peanut gallery?
Carpenter Brute. You guys know Carpenter Brute?
No.
All right, well, I'm just not gonna say anything then.
Oh.
It's gonna be my little secret.
Nice.
My little
And on that bombshell,
guy?
Oh, Disaster Piece. Does anybody know that?
Yes.
That guy?
Yeah.
Yes. He
mean
created
My
the
Life?
soundtrack for Fez and Hyper Light Drifter. I
Yep.
don't know if you guys ever played
Oh,
any of those.
cool.
But yeah, he does like it's really kind of like synthetic, electronic based, I guess like music that he does. And I don't know. I remember hearing it when I was playing Fez years ago, and I fell in love with it. And it was so cool to see him kind of bring like chiptune elements into kind of like an orchestral vibe, and it worked really well. He's super cool, super cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. On that bombshell, it's time for us to end. Any last words from any of y'all folks? Anything you want to plug? We'll just go around the table. So Christian, anything you want to plug?
Well, I've already plugged myself with
Do it again.
a lot, so go check it. If you haven't checked it out, go check out our stuff at mantra.io. That's we have a couple instruments there. Go check it out. I don't know. Follow me on Instagram if you're interested in anything I'm doing.
And that's spelled MNTRA.
Yeah, MNTRA. That's MNTRA. That's for mantra. Yeah.
Yep. Dallas, anything you wanna plug?
All good.
What about Stereo Blind
I'm
on
good, bro.
Spotify?
Yeah, we have a couple songs on Spotify with my band Stereo Blind.
There you go.
I guess if we're going that route, then I'm gonna be releasing a solo EP soon.
Nice.
Probably in like 2 weeks, I think. But yeah. Hey.
Hell yeah. That's exactly what we want. Brandon, I'm sure there's no shortage of things for you to plug.
But I'll just plug my MySpace, obviously. Actually, I am releasing a track with my band that on the 23rd called Throne with my band Chair Warriors, and I'm really proud of this one because this and a few of the other songs are like my first foray into like mixing and shit like that. So it's been super fun. And though most of the other ones I've mixed and produced, this one over here was produced by David Bottrell, who did Court of the Crimson King. He did Tool. He did 30 Seconds to Mars. He did Muse. He did I think even did Peter Gabriel. I think.
That's nuts.
Look, this guy was crazy, and it was such an honor it's such an honor to meet him. And we got the whole thing pretty much paid off by Factor as well. So that was nice to, because
That's sick.
expensive
That's
mixing
sick.
engineer.
Yeah.
Do you have a release date? Release a date or read?
I believe it's the 23rd. I could probably post a link in a pre-save in the chat. Let me.
Dude,
Yeah, go for it.
Don't link it.
do it.
Slap it.
Smack it
Destroy
onto the chat.
Yeah, fucking crank
Slap
that.
my
Can't wait to hear it. So
Slap
excited.
that like button.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for now. I mean, I do other stuff, but I think that one's closer to my heart because I've been with that band for so long that I'm really proud of that one because, yeah, it's something I worked really hard on. So, 23rd, Thrones, Chair Warriors.
Hell
Slap.
yeah. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So excited.
Seb Splinter,
So-
anything to plug? Are you doing
None.
anything?
Well, I work at Mantra, so buy my
Right.
shit, I guess.
Yep, mantra again.
Pay our bills.
Yeah.
Straightforward. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you got my buy.
it'd be good to have a job. So
Right.
buy your shit.
Help Seb and Christian keep their jobs.
Yes, please.
Buy
Yes, please
Oracle
do.
and Ultrasonic Death
I'm
Whistle.
afford food this
Yes.
week.
My name's
It's so
Sebastian. I'm an
good.
asshole. I don't recommend being like me.
Not a role model.
Have a nice evening.
Jackass. Get pranked, bro.
Jasper, anything to plug? Anything at all?
I mean, I'm also Spicy Knife on Twitter, and sometimes I have moderately good takes about like gay music history and stuff like that. Otherwise,
Only good takes.
yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. Watch Julian Field on Twitch. He layers conspiracy theory videos with like sick beats, and it's great.
Hey.
The first plug for someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, and Nusha?
Not really. I have music, but I'm really bad at releasing. So maybe I'll release it in a couple months. Maybe I'll release it in a couple years. Check out my Instagram if you want updates. updates
Hell yeah.
of either every 2 days I'll update it, or every 4 months. So
Make your website.
There you go.
Oh,
have
do you have a
have
MySpace?
fun.
That's true. You do also have a website.
Of course, I
I
have a
haven't-
MySpace, Brendan. How would
Okay,
I
okay,
not?
okay,
How
just
would
I
making sure.
haven't released
Christ.
my website yet, so see, I am really bad at releases.
Oh my god.
But there's a baby crying. I'm so sorry. But
Just crying
But-
because of the
Oh, what
heat
timing.
from all these
What
fire
timing.
mixtapes.
Oh my god, all these
Just-
takes.
Sorry.
just follow my music Instagram if you want to know anything. But like I said, it might be updated in a couple of days, might be updated in months or years. So
Okay.
Get in the chat.
who knows what happens?
What is your Instagram? Just yell it.
It's Nusha Music. That's it. It's pretty
Okay.
Nusha Music. My name, the music.
All right.
New show music.
Okay. And
Yeah.
last, certainly not least, Seb
You can keep
Medina.
me least. I'm fine with being least, dude.
Damn, dude. Fuck. Stop putting yourself down
Damn.
like that.
For real?
My boy.
I have a solo piano EP album coming out soon.
Hell.
Oh,
Hopefully
yes.
After April 22nd is the given date.
Yeah.
It is
Nice.
called Scenes and Imagery, and all the proceedings will go to a charity. And the one I decided on
Yes.
is called the Canadian Cancer Society, which some of you may know. I
Hey.
don't know.
Yes.
That's
Hey.
the one I've decided on.
Rings a
Hell
bell.
yeah.
So yeah, go buy it. Do it. This is
Hell yeah.
I am forcing you to do it. I'm
He's
looking at
holding you at gunpoint.
Yes, I am looking deep into your soul right now. I can see that you don't want to.
It's
but
such a
you will.
dilemma because it's like you're holding a gun and you're like pay charity, pay cancer charity. It's like, and then you're like I mean you're pointing a gun so I don't want to do it, but it's also like cancer.
morally
I look like an asshole saying no. Yeah, you're just like damn. I guess I
Yeah,
will.
so it's gonna be on Bandcamp. I'm gonna post it on social media as well, just to give it some clout.
Sick.
All right.
Yeah, and my Instagram is at Seba Medically Insane. No capitals.
Let's go.
just flat.
Like,
A
get in
lot
the
more
chat.
My heart.
Guys, link it
creative
in the chat.
than my
Nusha
my
music.
name.
Ah,
Her name's Nusha,
Yeah.
and she does music.
Yeah.
what else is there to know?
Simple and effective.
It's good.
all right. And there's me. We're already on Twitch, so you don't gotta follow that.
Yo, plug your Twitch.
We've already found it.
Plug
Yo,
twitch.tv
guys,
slash
watch him on Twitch.
twitch.tv/injustice for Joof.
Book me in a tier
Yeah.
3 sub, please.
Oh my god. I'm on YouTube as Jeff Tremblett, where I make videos. I have one coming out like tomorrow about essential things for composing students.
Yeah,
And
these videos are good. They're informative.
and
Watch
follow
them.
me on Twitter on Injustice for Joof, and on Instagram as Injustice for Joof. All
I didn't
right,
know you had a Twitter.
I do. I'm about to follow you.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. I love you all, and I especially love everyone in here that is chilling because you guys are amazing, and I thank you so
Love y'all.
much for
Yeah,
making
we
my
love you too.
pre-work
Yeah.
few hours not boring. So,
This was fun.
um,
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It
awesome.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good to
Everyone
see
here's a
y'all
Chad.
again.
Even Nusha's a Chad.
Especially
Thank you.
Nisha.
Hell yeah.
I'm
We're
the
all
biggest
Chads on the inside.
Yeah.
Chad is
I'm
Chad.
gonna one up you on that. I'm gonna say everyone's a Giga Chad. There you go.
Giga-
Whoa.
Whoa.
Giga
Woo!
Chad.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's too
Okay.
much.
Whoa.
It's a lot of power, I know,
You're
but you will have
fucked
to
up. You're
take the
fucked up.
mantle.
Oh my god. All right,
Feel
Right.
it. Feel
Bye,
it.
everybody.
everybody, have an amazing night. I
All
love
right.
you all,
Have a good life.
and have a good life.
Have
Goodbye.
a good life.
Okay.
Have a good life.
Bye.
Also-
And that's it for the stream. I love you guys.